No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not through those of the host, which discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackin Raw podcast, episode 241. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter. I am here tying the race for Pornhub Poppy with my co-host, Miss Katie Kinsey Bebe, because Vince didn't show up for work 2 weeks in a row. Returning to the podcast after a lengthy hiatus because I'm no longer his favorite white person, Mr. Tariq Yates, aka what is it, Reek?
Oh, Ravishing Reek Rude.
No. That's not what I call you.
What is it? What is
Dr. Reek Baker. B. You have your own Pornhub name. Embrace it.
Oh, okay.
And
right. Only on this show.
Well, yeah, because TC won't let me say it on your show. Making his Pornhub debut for the very first time from the Wrestle Index. He is a Lifehouse enthusiast, Mr. Tim King. Tim, what's going on, man?
Yo. Thanks for having me, man. I'm pumped to be here. Pumped to be making my debut, and let's get cracking, baby.
All right. Well, we're gonna roll with a little bit of news and rumors. I know TC and Reek have already talked about it. Katie mentioned it last night. Unfortunately, Virgil Vincent, however you know him, was recently diagnosed with dementia after suffering and not realizing he suffered, I believe, multiple strokes, one severe one. Then they also find out he had dementia. So prayers up for Virgil. Hope he gets better. That really sucks. Also, bad news. And I don't understand how the fuck this happens because I feel like, see, you were really nice about it last night, Katie. I'm not gonna be so nice about it. Like, I feel like if you have the wherewithal to buy a house, you're smart enough not to fucking lose your house if a wrestler says they need something from you. But somehow, either this person is trying to scam Liv Morgan into paying them the cost of a house, or somebody got scammed by a fake Liv Morgan account and then sold their house to try and help Liv. She is on TV every fucking week making more than you probably paid for your house. And you, anyway. Kushida, gone from WWE. Packed his bags, said fuck it, did not renew his contract. And based on what he was doing, I do not fucking blame him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I ain't mad.
Also, we got a slew of WWE name changes, and Katie also talked about this last night. And here's the thing: both Young Kings Wrestling and the She Elite Showcase implied that if you thought Katana Chance was Io Shirai's name, then there were racist implications there. And I dispute that claim, and here's why. I have been watching No, I actually didn't. I didn't go on there and tweet that, but I've been watching WWE my whole life. And that is a WWE ass move. That's why people thought it, not because she was Japanese, but because it's some fucked up Vince McMahon shit to name a Japanese wrestler Katana.
Exactly. So racist.
But
on WWE's
that's assuming
part.
Vince is racist, not the fans are racist for thinking it. That is a different conversation.
Well, I've said this: Vince is not the only person with the pen in his hand. You know, he has a brain trust, a group of people.
Brain trust of slightly racist people, none of which are necessarily the fans for thinking WWE would do some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, but some fans.
Oh, there are racist fans out there, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
There are people who are like, oh yeah, you should definitely name her that because she's Asian, and those people suck. But there are also fans like me who are like, no, that just sounds like some WWE shit.
Yeah, that's also true.
Karrion Kross and Scarlett eloped on a fucking glacier in Alaska,
Yeah, that's crazy shit.
which is one of two weddings we're going to talk about this week in our episode titled Two Brides and a Gangbang, or Two Brides, One Gangbang. And then last but not least, apparently you can't sign or re-sign an AEW contract from a Mexican prison. So Jack Evans of TH2 is no longer with the company. I'm not sad about it. I was never a Jack Evans guy. You guys know I couldn't stand TH2. They drove me fucking nuts. Last I heard, he was in a Mexican prison. I haven't heard he's been released, so that is my assumption, is cannot sign a contract from Mexican prison. Therefore, you are terminated.
Oof.
Is what it is.
That I believe that. That makes sense. I mean, why would you be able to? So yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody really is missing them. So
No, I don't think
Like,
people
they would
remember
be in
that
like a
Jack
year and a
Evans
half
was even
anyways.
part of AEW. Yeah.
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 He's just another one of those guys who was there at the very beginning when they thought that the independent wrestler was the way that they wanted to go. And they gave these guys a chance. You can't say they didn't give him a chance, but he just wasn't over. He's good in the ring, but a certain somebody I know said he likes stories and characters and whatnot, and this guy just didn't have it.
I'm gonna be dead honest. Every time, like recently when I saw Jack Evans, I thought of Jack Harlow, and so I started thinking, like, when the fuck did this dude get into wrestling? So that's how off the radar he was for me in the first place. So yeah, this was a non-factor to begin with.
He kind of reminded me of like Pirate Brian Kendrick back, like right when he was joining Paul London back in the day. Like I saw so many similarities, but again, that dude's as vanilla gets. Like no one gives a shit about him. He's just another small vanilla midget who can wrestle, right? Like that's what they say. But guess what? They got like 50 better vanilla midgets, so he's expendable.
And to speak to Tim's point, that is something that I both tweeted out and I was discussing is the most recent episode of the Angle podcast, which you guys should all go check out, from my friend Joey Carney. He interviewed Tahuti Miles, and Tahuti basically came out. He's like, listen, Vince sat down with Hit Row and told us we make movies, which we all know because Vince has said that before, but he's like, you guys are actors who perform your own stunts. That's what we do here. And that's what I love about wrestling. I am not a 5-star match guy, which is why I don't get into New Japan, which is why because think about it, when everyone talks about New Japan, what do they tell you? They tell you, you got to go see Kenny versus Okada. I'm going to give you their actual names and not my names to get the point across. I'm not going to call them Tamagotchi and Itchy. I'll do it later. Don't worry. We'll get into it later. Because there is that Forbidden Door show. We'll handle it. So like they tell you, oh, you got to see this match. You got to see this match. Not like, oh, there's this amazing story or this character in NJPW is so fucking fantastic, because they're not. Kenny Omega is not a great character. He might be a really good wrestler. I wouldn't call him best in the world like a lot of his fans do, but he's a good wrestler, but he's not a good fucking character. He's boring as fuck as a character.
Midi Omega.
When you ask me what I love about wrestling, I'm going to tell you Kane and The Undertaker's story, Paul Bearer's betrayal of The Undertaker, the story between Vince McMahon and Stone Cold. Everything's going to have fucking story in it, because I watch wrestling like I watch a fucking TV show, because that's what it is. And I want drama and I want stories. And if there's a great match at the end of it, that is a fucking bonus, because not all of these stories had great payoffs. Fiend and Orton, WrestleMania. Yeah, not everything goes well, not everything pays off the way it should, but the ride there is what I enjoy, and that's what I remember most. If you ask me what's my match of the year this year, I'm probably going to tell you something from WrestleMania, like Bianca versus Becky, because not just because it's the best match of the year, but because I don't really remember matches because they were great. Like, I know there were some, and if you list them, like, oh yeah, I remember that was a good match, but I'm not one of the guys that sits here and is like, oh, these matches are stuck in my head. But I can tell you great stories. I can tell you Kofi Mania and that story leading up to that match, which made that match great. I can tell you the story between Bianca and Becky, which led to that match, which made that match great. It's the stories that drive wrestling for me. And not everyone's like that. Mr. Warren Hayes absolutely loves the wrestling. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it is an art form and everyone likes things differently. But for me, when you tell me go check this out and you give me a match, you don't give me a reason to watch the match other than it was a really good match, I'm probably not going to do it. And I'm probably not going to get into the product. But if you give me a fucking story as to like, hey, this is going on, I might go check that shit out. So thank you to Hootie Miles for, giving me some self-reflection today on my wrestling fandom.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I am too. And like, unless the match is like really good as hell, then I could get into it eventually because like I'm a sucker for like really great technicians and stuff like that, and awesome spots. But I've always leaned more into story because that's how you get invested. Like,
well, even if you think like we all loved Black and Gold, right? And they had a shit ton of good matches, but the ones that you remember, Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, because the feud was there. I loved Aleister Black because I loved the character of Aleister Black and the story elements that they put into the character leading up to his matches. I honestly, the only outside of him defeating Andrade for the title, the only Aleister Black match that comes to mind in my mind, because I know he had a shit ton on Black and Gold, is versus Lars Sullivan. And that's because I was there to fucking see it. When he broke Lars Sullivan's jaw, I was there to see that. So that sticks in my mind. But I also think of Nikki Cross and who attacked Aleister Black and I'll never tell, that whole thing. Those are the things about wrestling I love. And that's what we talk about here on the Smackin' Raw podcast. So if you're a Wrestling Index fan and you have no idea what the fuck this wrestling podcast on Pornhub is or what to expect, you should expect a very flagrant description of the stories that went on this week and us spitting and swallowing what we liked about what happened in wrestling this week, because we're on Pornhub. And what do you do on Pornhub? You spit or you swallow. And sometimes you take it on the face.
Indeed.
All right, Tim, you as our special guest get to guide us through our week of wrestling. So you're going to tell us where we want to start. Do you want to start Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Dynamite, or Rampage? And then I'll give a breakdown of everything that happened before we get into our spits and swallows.
Yeah, let's just start in order. Let's just start with Raw. Well, let's kick it off.
All right, so we kick it off with Seth and Cody engaging in some foreplay. Seth tells Cody how hot and awesome he is. Cody says Seth couldn't get it up at Mania, and that's not his problem. Seth wants to give Cody a blind date tonight to see if he can get it up in the main event because Seth couldn't at Mania. So this is all about, can you get hard? Because I couldn't. Love it. Women's tag team title match. Naomi and Sasha retain. Rhea punishes Liv for not satisfying her needs in this match. Rhea owes no explanation to Sarah, Megan, or whoever the anonymous blonde interviewer was in the back that I cannot tell apart from the other. I think Sarah Schreiber, maybe?
Sarah?
It's Sarah or like some other chick named
Megan Moran. They're the same person.
Megan.
They're the same person. She just changes her clothes.
They
and calls herself
have to be
Never
the
seen
same
them in the
person.
same place.
No, never seen them together. Sonya has her abuse my power ? Promo. Says you can abuse yourself, basically. She wants to face the best, gave Bianca what she wanted. Sonya pulls the official card on Bianca, which our guest last week said she better not do, and said, I'm an official. I'm dressed. You can't touch me. And refuses a request to have the match tonight, but says next week she will defeat Bianca in her hometown and embarrass the shit out of her. Bianca then picks Sonya up and sets her down gingerly, and Sonya has a shit fit because I'm an official and you touched me. I didn't think Bianca had an issue with women touching her, Sonya had an issue with women touching her, but apparently I was incorrect. Veer gets enhanced, continues to enhance himself after the match. Sonya goes backstage and cries to Adam, who informs her that not only was Bianca fined $1, but there's going to be an investigation of the fact that she's a racist cunt. So there's that. Bianca then shows up and pays her $1 fine, which Sonya did not know at the time and then found out and got even more upset because she's like, why are you investigating me? Well, because you're shitty and you're doing shitty things. That's what people get investigated for. Like,
and I got questions about this investigation because what happened to the last one where they said Vince said he looking into her abusing her power. Like,
so as you should know, the way the United States justice system works, and we're going to consider WWE part of the United States justice system. Should a black person commit these crimes, they're going to be investigated immediately. But because it is a white person, she has to offend multiple times before officially being investigated. For example, someone like Titus O'Neil can touch Vince McMahon and get fucked. But Sonya can do whatever the fuck she wants to all the black talent on the roster. And it's only the third set of black talent that she has harassed before anything is said or done about it. Because it was Street Profits, and then it was Naomi, and now it's Bianca.
I feel like there was some the ref,
Yeah,
Asia.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Aja. So
I
4.
was counting. I was like,
Took
am I
4.
missing somebody?
Yeah.
Where was I? KO show, lie detector on Ezekiel. He passes. He is Ezekiel. He is not Elias. He is not lying, or at least he's convinced himself enough to pass a lie detector test that he is his own younger brother, which is a weird, fucked up Mississippi kind of relationship that I don't want to get into. Chad administers the test. He passes with flying colors, and KO's pissed. Chad's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm giving the test. He says he's telling the truth. Like, then we get Chad versus Ezekiel, which ends in DQ when Otis comes in and wrecks Freaky Zeke, which is what I'm now going to call Ezekiel. That is his new name.
Okay.
RK Blows loses to the Street Profits. The Usos music plays, but they don't come out. It's a distraction that the Street Profits set up. Good for them. Fuck RK Blows. Edge challenges AJ from his dark throne, and then AJ tries to answer the challenge from the locker room, but the lights go out, and when they come back on, he gets mugged by Damian Priest and Edge in the locker room. I've seen that somewhere. Theory defeats Finn Theory defeats Finn to become the new US champion. Theory is celebrated by the heels for some reason, like every bad guy on Raw and or SmackDown, because the brand split does not exist anymore, showed up and picked him up on their shoulders and raised them above his head and cheered. And then yes, Reek.
The brand split never existed, Matt. Let's just let it go.
For the most part,
just,
it never really existed. Then Mr. McMahon comes out and takes a fucking selfie with Austin Theory, and if you saw the picture, it looks like the fucking Fiend's mask. Like, that is the creepiest goddamn smile on Austin Theory's face. Then we get our double dose of wedding night bliss. The team bad bridesmaids are out there to support Tamina, because unity. The crowd hated this segment and tried to hijack it, but Truth got things back on track. Tamina decides first she wants Reggie instead of Tozawa, and then it looked like we were gonna get a little HLA between Dana and Tamina, and then the crowd got excited. When they cheered, they're like, oh no, we're gonna fuck this up and change it. And then she went back to Tozawa. Reggie ends up, after the ceremony is done, pinning his wife Dana Brooke to become the champion, who is then pinned by Tamina to become the champion, who is then pinned by Tozawa to become the champion, who is then pinned by Dana Brooke in a wedding dress to get her title back. And then, like every wedding you see on Pornhub, Dana Brooke runs off with the black man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
MVP challenges Bobby to an arm wrestling match against Omos, and Bobby accepts because that's something we needed in our lives, was another arm wrestling match. In our main event, we find out that Cody's blind date is none other than Seth Rollins' best friend KO, who got sick of Seth's shit and just bailed on the match. And then Cody goes to climb to the top of the rope and cheer, but Seth makes sure to disappoint Cody from behind and knocks him to the ground and possibly injures his ankle. What are our spits and swallows from Raw this week?
Somebody go.
So let's see. I first and foremost gotta give Truth to Swallow just for holding that shit, whatever that was, of a segment together. We know how weddings go on Raw or pretty much any WWE show, but that one was just a lot of moving pieces at once. Like, you're killing me here. Definitely, I'm always gonna swallow Edge in this whole this new faction he got going on with Priest. I'm guessing Rhea's gonna join that. That's what the talk is. I'm all for it, especially now that she's not giving Liv the silicone no more. So that's out the window. I'm gonna give a half swallow to the lie detector segment because Chad Gable is like money in terms of promo and everything like that, and Kevin Owens is hilarious. It's a shot for shot remake of Mr. America. Like, look, honestly, it really is. So it really didn't have me interested, but because those two are that entertaining, I'm like, okay.
And because you brought up that it's related to a Hogan segment, I am spitting it.
See what you
Because
do.
I spit everything Hulk Hogan.
See what you fucking do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm swallowing Street Profits win because they won. Because I'm gonna be honest, and we're gonna get to this in SmackDown too. I'm not really caring for RK Bro anymore like that. Not that I ever really did, but I don't know. It's not doing it. We're waiting too long to pull the trigger of what is inevitable at this point, because we know what's gonna happen. And I gotta give Swallow to Cody. Like I think everyone was been all skeptical, like, oh, let's wait and see a couple months and see how they really push Cody. Like, this dude opens the show every week, and anyone watches USFL when they put up like the promos for Raw and SmackDown. On the SmackDown side, you got Roman Reigns, and there's no disputing his place in the company. But on the Raw side, you didn't get, Lashley or Brock Lesnar or anybody like that. You had Cody in that spot. So obviously, we're doing something serious with this guy. He might not be challenging immediately, but there's something down the line for Cody in terms of his place on the hierarchy. So that's good.
Well, yeah, I agree with a lot of that for sure. What you did not mention is my biggest swallow of the week, which had the IWC in a fucking tizzy, sending Prince Devitt back to New Japan or to AEW or whatever the fuck they were trying to send him. I'm all in on Theory, Austin Theory, whatever it is that you want to call him. That guy's got it. He's good in the ring. He's good on the mic. And I don't need Vince McMahon to be behind him for me to see how good he is. But the fact that he's got his blessing is just an indication of how far he's going to go. And I'm sure we'll talk about spits and swallows on SmackDown. But Ricochet ain't going to be holding that belt much longer. Theory is going to find him. He's going to take that belt. He's going to hold both mid-card belts. And he's going to hold them for quite some time. He's going to merge those bad boys, and I can't wait to see it. And this was the start. I love Prince Balor. I love Finn Balor more than anybody. I think he's so good. But at this point, he didn't need to be holding that U.S. title hostage anymore. He got it, didn't defend it. Just like when Nakamura got it, didn't defend it. Maybe, just maybe, we will start to utilize mid-card titles again by merging them on Theory, making them one, and start building them back up again. And now hopefully Balor goes and teams with AJ against Edge and Priest, because AJ is going to need some help. So I'm thinking that that's where Balor is going to go next. He ain't going to go to New Japan or AEW because he's getting paid good money, and he's going to keep enjoying his WWE ride. He's going to go team with his boy, and he's going to feud with Edge and Priest. That's going to happen next. So I'm big swallowing on both of those things right there. And in the same boat, I'm big swallowing Liv or Rhea turning on Liv. Rhea is going to join up with, you kind of got the tease. The lights kind of flashed, kind of was a purple tint. She's going to join up with them. I think Ciampa's going to join up with them. And you're going to kind of have this. And I'd like to see, he was in that conglomerate hosting Theory up on his shoulders. I'd like to see Dominic Dijakovic or fucking T-Bar, whatever you call him, join that group as well, because he's not doing shit. And I think he's a perfect member for that group. I do like what you said about Cody. I like how he's starting every show, which is smart because the crowd wants him. It's crazy, like the influence he's had so soon. I don't like the fact that they fucking put him in the main event with KO already, though. Like that's a good program. You save that match, especially if you're just going to do a bullshit walkout. Why have KO in that spot? You could have pulled someone else out. And I'm spitting hard on this shit with Veer. Put him in a program. Do something with him. Don't fucking have him squash people for weeks, months, and then he's gonna just be gone. And that exactly that's what's gonna happen.
Why not have Seth force Cody to face Veer and then end that in a DQ so Veer doesn't lose and look bad, but when Cody starts coming back and it looks like he's gonna win, let Seth get involved. Because then We're not doing enhancement matches with Veer because I think everyone is tired, and we're going to talk about that again on SmackDown. Everyone's tired. Like, we know these guys can wrestle. I don't need enhancement matches from every large person that you put on the fucking roster to know that they're a large badass person. I can see it. I have fucking eyes.
Yeah.
You save KO and you send someone out there that looks like he could legitimately possibly injure Cody and might give Cody a little bit of pause. Like, oh fuck, like he's a big mean motherfucker.
Yep. Even send like a guy like T-Bar out there and give him 12 minutes with Cody. You know, Cody gets the win, then he gets a main event win, and you're not doing any damage to anyone. But yeah, I didn't like that it was KO. I want that down the road, but there's no reason for it yet. That's a main event. Cody's mid card for life, but if they're gonna push him, that's a main event program.
Katie?
Agreeing with mostly everything that was said. Rhea turning on Liv. Listen, I love Liv for Brutality, all my heart and soul. They were fucking, you can't tell me otherwise. But
Yes, they were.
badass heel Rhea, I need it. And I'm down. So big swallow on Rhea turning finally. And she is going to join Edge and Priest. If not, then that's a waste of fucking opportunity. Because Bianca's got to face somebody after Sonya. Why not have it be Rhea? Or save Rhea for later.
WWE has been missing so hard the most obvious and probably one of the most over women's tag teams that they could possibly put together in your t-shirt right there, Miss Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. They are very similar characters. They look alike. They both like to do horror cosplay or cosplay in general in their entrance attire. Those two together would be over to the fucking moon, more so than Live for Brutality, even though they were definitely fucking. And I don't know how we haven't done that yet. So let this feud go on. Let Rhea smash Liv. Listen, at this point, don't have high hopes for Liv winning, guys. Like, Liv doesn't win. That's just not who she is. But we can put her in a tag team with Alexa, give Alexa something to do, because there's a lot of creative rumors in the back that they had nothing for her, and that's why we haven't seen her. Here's something. You have a women's tag division. You have awesome women's tag team champions who need competition that isn't fucking Shayna and Natalya, which we're going to fucking talk about. Oh, I know you're pissed. I know you're pissed. We'll get there. We'll get there. We need that.
Who
They
else?
need women's tag
They
teams.
don't have one. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Alexa and
Yeah.
Liv. Give us Alexa and Liv. Like,
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, I was like, I had this thought. I never said it before, but I always thought, like, you know what, Liv could have been Lily. You know what I'm saying? You missed the boat on making her sister Abigail, so it's like, why not put her in this spot and then have them be a tag team, and the Liv can go dark like Alexa or something like that.
have
Like,
Alexa come out and possess Liv Morgan with Lily, the spirit of Lily. That's storytelling that I absolutely fucking enjoy. I would get into that.
Oh yeah.
I'd be all for it.
And I'm also looking forward to watching Liv and Alexa cuddle at night like she does with the Lily doll. That'd be fun too. Let's do that. You guys got any spits?
Other than like the wedding segment that I'm like half and half on.
Just Veer. I mean, not
Yeah,
Veer.
I know you spit Veer.
Yeah, not Veer himself though. So I want to make that clear. I think the character Veer, the wrestler Veer, I think that he could be really good. But if you're gonna fucking put him out there for 4 months against enhancement talent, just like they're gonna do on the other side with, we'll talk about it.
Gunther?
Yeah, I don't fucking.
They're trying to.
Yeah.
I feel like
Big
they're trying to
spit.
do with him what they did with Umaga, and I don't think that ain't gonna work.
And Rusev and basically everyone else that kind of looks like
big
that.
guy.
Yeah. I'm spitting Bobby Lashley getting into an arm wrestling contest. Like,
yeah, fuck that. Like,
Again.
what the fuck is this?
I could feel this feud. Like, I talked about it last week. This is very much has we went on a break. I found someone new and now you're pissed off. Like, very much has that energy. And I'm all for that. I went and got a new man. I'm going to send this man after you because you got all pissed off and you're being whiny. Bobby wants to win MVP back. He doesn't understand what happened. He forgot that he has to be on the break himself. Like, all that good shit. I get behind the story. I like Omos with MVP because Omos definitely needs someone to talk for him.
Yes.
And Bobby does too, but not as much. And Bobby's pretty much been established now.
Yeah,
So
no, he's improving on the mic too. So he's doing all right.
let Bobby do his thing. He doesn't have to talk as much. But arm wrestling match, like tests of strength, like this is not.
He's done that.
80s,
He's done that with everyone.
Yeah.
Like if you go back over the past few years, it's been like an arm wrestling match with pretty much all the big guys. And lastly, like find something else for this dude to do.
Yeah.
Like some other test.
I enjoyed when he was doing the
match.
Master Lock Challenge. When he stole Chris Masters' gimmick. That was fun.
Exactly. That's
Can almost
full circle.
Can almost break the Master Lock or the Hurt Lock. The Hurt Lock.
Hurt Lock.
Yeah, call it right. It sounds like everyone liked him. Overall, Monday Night Raw, spit or swallow.
I'll give it a swallow.
Give it a swallow.
Raw's been good since Mania, so I mean, it's not much to hate.
It was fine. Yeah, it was fine. I had nothing to complain about. It was
swallow. You swallow Raw.
I guess I'd rather take it on the face, but I guess I'll.
Oh, you can take it on the face. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
take it on the face.
Yeah, there are options. There's options on the show.
I'll take Raw on the face for sure.
Right.
Because while it wasn't bad, it just wasn't great.
Yeah, you didn't love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swallow Raw too. Didn't have enough to hate about it. Where we going next, Tim? NXT. You just want to go in order, or?
Yeah, I'll keep it in order.
Okay.
And as per protocol, I did not watch AEW this week, so
yeah, well,
I'm gonna be listening to the recap.
Pretty Deadly promo. They talked about how they beat the 4 best America had to offer, and then GYV comes out and says, "You know what? You're right, you did, but we weren't in that fucking tournament. We're also from the UK. You didn't beat us, and you only ever won anything because every time you won it, we weren't involved. You won your NXT UK titles when we weren't there. You won these titles in a tournament that we weren't a part of." GYV wants a shot, and so does Delgado. We end up getting a huge brawl and a match later between those two. Braun calls out Joe Wayne Gacy in what is my favorite fucking story in wrestling right now. Joe Wayne Gacy hijacks the arena screens and says that, "You want me? Come find me, Braun." Braun almost runs over GYV going in the back looking for Gacy, who has his father's Hall of Fame ring. He finds the sex cage that Rick was abused in by Harland and the laptop that they recorded it on, just sitting there. It was fantastic. His father was not there, but the recording was there, and he watched it in disgust. Then he continues his journey into like a fun house later where there are all these mirrors just randomly in the fucking CWC for some reason. And Gacy's in the mirrors, but when he turns around, he's not there. And then there's a nice climax that we'll get to a little later. Tiffany Stratton actually had a decent showing against Saray. I'm not huge on Tiffany Stratton. I don't know why she was beating Saray, but she looked good. Like, it was a good match. Santos says that Mello needs to get to the back of the line, and I'm going to need everyone to stop telling black wrestlers to get to the back of the line, because every time I hear it, it sounds fucked up. We need a new phrase. Mello says he made the line, and Santos' ass is next on his redemption tour. Pretty Deadly end up getting catfished by Persia and Indy into thinking they're going to get fucked, and instead they get fucked up by Duke and Dexter. We got a Waller interview. He said he got rid of the dead weight in Sangha. Andre Chase and Blonde Bo Dallas interrupt. For some reason, they're a part of this. And then Sangha shows up pissed off, starts wrecking shit, chases Waller to the ring, where Waller gets the win over what I've seen everyone refer to as Saudi Braun Strowman.
Yeah. Because
he dresses like Braun. Like Braun left his ring gear and they're like, "Hey, will you fit in this?" And they put him in it. And he fit. We got Roxanne's vignette. Apparently she was a child who played wrestling video games like you and I, all of us. And it made her really want to become a superstar. And then she did. She's got an interview where Toxic Attraction shows up and they're like, "Hey, yeah, no, you might want to just like temper your expectations. We run this shit." And she's like, "Yeah, okay." And JC apparently did not like the way she said it. So JC decides she's going to challenge Roxy, for those who don't know, to a match tonight. So her debut is tonight instead of tomorrow. Legado defeats GYV. Thank God, because they needed a fucking win. During the match, after Santos told Tony D to watch how a true leader handles business, some thugs who may or may not have been Italian, who, according to my Don Tony D, had nothing to do with him and he doesn't know who they are, may or may not have taken a tire iron to the back of somebody's knee and cost them the match. When Santos took on Mello. I'm not gonna implicate anyone here. I'm just saying two finely dressed Italian men who may or may not be from Chicago were trying to make a name for themselves and thought they'd impress the Don, and I don't blame them because Tony D's the shit. We got a Zion Quinn interview. Again, Santos versus Mello. Santos gets dropped with the tire iron in the knee. Mello, after the match, has a promo, challenges Grimes at Spring Break-In. Grimes accepts. Solo comes out, takes out Trick and Mello, and he's like, I got next. And they turned it into a triple threat. So it will be Grimes versus Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes at Spring Break-In for the North American Championship. Malcolm tries to calm down Ivy Nile, who's very upset that she had to spend any time in the UK. Apparently, there's just like a talent exchange. Like, this is high school, and sometimes you get foreign exchange students. You send an American over to the UK, and UK comes over here. So we got a tag team. They got a female wrestler. You know, it is what it is. But she's pissed. And then Roddy comes and he's like, hey, listen, like, everything's cool. I know things got off track, but I got a vision. And if you're not with my vision, you can go fuck yourself. And Malcolm seemed to take that personally. Malcolm did not seem on board with this new vision of, if you don't like what I have to say, go fuck yourself. And I don't necessarily know I blame Malcolm. Tatum, Tatum Paxley loses to Natalya because we all thought that Natalya had gone to NXT and got off Raw or SmackDown and we were going to be safe. But apparently she has just doubled down on the amount of times that we have to see Natalya in a week. And I do not appreciate that. I was fine with you going to NXT, putting younger talent over. I didn't mind, the sharpshooter in the Louis. That was nice. But I didn't want to see you in a tag team on Raw or SmackDown, and you fucked it up, Natalya. I don't know what you got on Vince McMahon, but you got something, and it's fucked up. Tony, again, gets accused of being involved in the attack on Escobar. Had nothing to do with it, not his fault. Then he's like, oh, hey, is this Santos's car? And the nice guy that this dude is, mind you, the nice guy that Tony D is, he sees that they put a boot on Santos's car, which means that after the show, Santos and the crew are not going to be able to go get food. So what does he do? This man goes out of his way to buy a huge fish and leave it for them so that they have something to eat for dinner. And then they're pissed off because there's a fish on their car. This man went out, like, you know how much that fish probably cost? That was an expensive ass fish. My man went out of his way to get you fresh. People pay a lot of money for sushi. This is the freshest sushi you are going to get, just left there for you while you're waiting to get this boot off your car. Yes, Tariq.
You are Italian, correct?
I am, and from Chicago.
You're familiar, so you're familiar with Italian heritage and everything like that.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So traditionally speaking, what does a dead fish just plopped out in front of your car or whatever, piece of property? What does that generally mean?
It depends on the situation. In this situation, I feel like it meant dinner. We do eat a lot of fish. Fish is delicious. I feel like I feel like implying that it meant something else is a rude generalization of Italian mafia stereotypes that I don't want to entertain on here. So,
okay. All right, if you say so.
I'm just saying, he was a nice guy. He took care of him. Then we got an Natalya interview. She's sick of the call-ups coming up and trying to make a name offer, so she shut them down before they could. Maybe coming down here, and then Flaquita shows up and she's like, "Well, I got next. I'm gonna fuck up Lash because she kicked me in the face, gave me some this is Sparta shit. I'm gonna be her, and then I'm coming for you, Natalya." And Natalya's like, all right, I guess. Like, I'm gonna just put you in the sharpshooter and tap you out. And she's like, oh yeah, well, I'm flexible. And I got a boner. Like, that was rude, Flaquita. Like, don't do that to me. I'm sitting there trying to enjoy wrestling. You can't be talking about how flexible and shit you are. I see you on TikTok. I know what you do. We've seen it. Prehistoric Paul is suspended and fined for injuring Jiro at the request of Sophia Cromwell, who is just a mean, brutal woman to, unleash ancient Andy on poor Ikeman Jiro. He just lost his tag team partner, and you got this man getting beat to shit by a caveman Carl out here just fucking dudes up for no reason. We do not clap for Ancient Andy. We do not clap for Ancient Andy.
I'm giving him a fucking swallow. I'm giving him a swallow. You know I can't stand Aki Manjurin. I don't care. I'm glad he got his ass beat. That is the only swallow that Prehistoric Paul is ever going to get from me, but I'm giving it to him.
There you go.
Well, JC Jane loses to Roxanne after Wendy comes out, causing a distraction by redecorating the Toxic Lounge mid-match. She thought that it needed a little work, and she went and did some work to it. And apparently they weren't happy about the redecoration. Looks like there's a lot of comfortable spots to sleep now, which is Wendy's deal. Like everything's on the floor, makes it nice for nap time. Then in our main event, Pretty Deadly versus Duke and Dexter. I actually didn't write down who won this match. Was there a winner? Does anyone remember?
I didn't see the end, I don't think. I remember watching the match. I don't think I saw the finish. But I would have seen if
I didn't write it down because we jumped into my favorite story right after it, and I got distracted.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to say Pretty Deadly won because I believe it was for the tag titles. So yeah. Pretty Deadly won. Yeah, Pretty Deadly.
There was no title change.
That's not important. What's important is Joe Wayne Gacy, who has been sitting in the security office this entire time, jacking off, watching Braun Breaker run around the CWC, trying to find his father's ring, decides it is time to confront Braun himself. He calls Braun out onto the little balcony area that they have. He's like, all you have to do is give me a title match. And if I get my title match at Spring Breakin', you can have the ring back. Braun's like, oh, I didn't realize it was that easy. If you had just told me that, we could have skipped all of this. Yeah, you can have a match. Absolutely. So he gives him the ring back and then shoves him off the balcony to the floor where, for whatever reason, apparently after The Undertaker retired, there was a wholesale on his gimmick because the creatures of the night are now loyal to Joe Wayne Gacy, and they were waiting to gangbang the fuck out of Braun Breaker at the end of this show. Our big bad booty champion got gangbanged by the creatures of the night to close out NXT, and that is where my swallow starts. Is everything Joe Wayne Gacy Braun Breaker tonight was fucking fantastic.
Joe Wayne Gacy is a fucking serial killer.
He is.
It gives me the genuine creeps. I don't like it.
Big bad booty champ got his booty bust. That's fucked up.
By a bunch of robed figures that were once loyal to The Undertaker and now loyal to Joe Wayne Gacy.
Well, I mean, you got to figure with Taker officially retiring, they're out of a job, so they got to get some work somewhere.
Edge got Taker's gimmick. Gacy got the fucking creatures of the night. Like, it is what it is.
Next.
What are we swallowing and what are we spitting?
I already gave the swallow to Prehistoric Paul. It's the only one, I swear, but modern problems require modern solutions. And my modern problem was Aki Manjir, and I couldn't stand him. After that segment on one of the pay-per-views where he was just like in the toilet stall shitting and everything like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with you. I don't want to see you anymore. So if we speed up that process to get him off TV, then great.
Pretty sure he's off TV for a while, so
good. Very good. What was it? I'm gonna need JC Jane to take some of that bass out of her voice. I'm really gonna need that. Cause you listen, respectfully, you are the third most important person in that group. And 1A and 1B is Mandy, Gigi. So yeah, you don't have a lot of room to be like puffing your chest out like this. Not saying she's like not there, but she's the third wheel in this group.
You guys are going to make me sympathy simp for JC Jane because every time I listen to motherfuckers talk about toxic attraction, I feel bad because everyone's like Mandy and Gigi and oh yeah, JC's just there. We said it last week on the show. We say it all the time. And I'm starting to feel bad for her. Like I feel like she needs a little love.
Like a little, but not a lot. Like it's just, it's just like it's one of those things. It's like you got two solid, 10s right here, and then there's that 6 that's just hanging out there. This needs just a couple more to get up there, but it's like I don't know what to tell you.
But that's the thing, because she's standing next to 2 10s, she might be an 8 that looks like a 6. If you take away those other 2, she might be an 8.
Spit.
That is. Oh, which I'm spitting the fact that GYV wasn't in the tag title match, and the fact that they even had to justify the fact that we weren't invited. Like that is bullshit. They are absolutely correct, and I stand on that 110%. I don't know why GYV has been so disrespected. I don't know why their names have changed, and I'm guessing that means they're going up, and if it does, then great. But it's an injustice that they were never tag team champions. That's bullshit.
Unpopular opinion, I'm swallowing the fact that they changed their names because I always thought Grizzled Young Veterans was a stupid fucking name. I've been saying it forever. It is a terrible tag team name. Thank God that they are not Grizzled Young Veterans again, because who the fuck wants to say Grizzled Young
Young Veterans? What do they call themselves now?
I believe it's just
Gibson
Drake
and
Gibson.
Drake and Gibson.
Well, listen, it was a stupid name, but see, the thing is, when you say it with conviction enough, I'm gonna get behind it. Like, it could be the stupidest thing in the world. If you sit up there and say it with your whole chest, after a couple weeks, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Do you? You got
Unless
it.
you're JC Jane, who shouldn't be speaking with her whole chest.
Yeah, no.
She needs to get the base out of her butt. Yeah,
she's outnumbered. She's outnumbered in that regard. I can't stand by it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Just checking.
I gotta go back and finish watching Santos and Carmella, because that match is definitely fire. But I'm swallowing that. I'm spitting this interference from these thugs who are clearly working for Tony D'Angelo. My probationary period is up. I do not have to simp for this man no more. He is a menace to society. He needs to be stopped.
He's the Don of NXT. The fuck you talking about?
And
if he wasn't an Italian from Chicago, but he was, I don't know, from Alabama and a pastor, you might like him a little better.
Stop.
But since he's not, I understand your issue with him, I guess.
Oh my God. I will not stand for this. This is nonsense. But this is the biggest one for me. I am swallowing Fakita Lyons for being there and putting Natty in her place. I am not done with this topic. I will let out my full rage when we get to SmackDown. Oh, but point is, next week or whenever they have their match, I'm gonna need Fakita to hit that finish, that split on Natty's face and break her nose with her clitoris. I need that to happen.
Well, we have to get her hitting that split on Lash first.
That is true. That is true.
Again.
And I don't care where she hits it as long as she hits it, because I want to see that action happening. But yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of jiggle. That everything's jiggling in that.
Yes. Yes.
Katie, Tim, spits and swallows. Oh, by the way, I'm swallowing Tony D'Angelo because everything he did was fantastic. He's an upstanding citizen who got dinner for some people who had a boot on their car, and I don't appreciate any of these racist or not racist, but stereotypical thoughts you have about Chicagoans who may or may not be Italian or mafioso. Rude.
They carry crowbars with them by the ring, you know.
Triple H is one of the most famous wrestlers in the world. He carried a fucking sledgehammer. No one accused him of fucking stereotypical bullshit.
I mean,
true.
JR called him the cerebral assassin for a reason. And mind you, JR was like could hype him up the most, but would be dastardly to him when he was a heel. Like, I've never heard cerebral assassin so much.
Cerebral assassin, how is that in any way, shape, or form a stereotype of anything that Triple H is?
I mean, it means he's smart, but it means he's, you know.
But it's not a stereotype.
Killer.
Whereas, however, you are implying that this crowbar and these things about Mr. Tony D'Angelo, as you asked me, typical things about Italian mafia members.
I'm going to leave you with this. You tell me what happened to that interviewer that was asking Tony questions, and then he sat up there and, you know, got all tough with him. And next thing you know, you look in a trunk and there's someone clearly in there, but he just goes missing. Yeah.
Came back.
He came back, and Tony took him out to a nice dinner. Dude fell while they were walking out of the building, messed himself up a little bit, but he realized after having a nice dinner with Tony what a good guy he was and changed his tune.
He looked scared for his life.
Post-traumatic stress disorder from falling coming out of the fucking restaurant.
Like,
I don't know what to tell you.
Specifically when he told dude to look in the camera and told him to talk to his family and shit like that. The dude looked scared for his life. I'm not falling for this. I'm not falling for this. I know a hustler when I see one.
Oh, he's a good dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Too funny. Yeah, I got a swallow. I got Tiffany Stratton. That's it. Just a swallow on Tiffany Stratton. That's all. Self-explanatory. She's great. I got a big time spit on this Grayson Waller and the Sanja thing. Like, all right, Grayson Waller's a little jizz. All right, he's a little fucking bitch, and he needs a fucking guy like Sanja, I think, to help keep him not relevant because he keeps himself relevant. But I think a big bodyguard like that propels him into a relevant match with Braun Breaker down the road. Otherwise, I think Braun squashes him with no legitimate chance of actually winning that match. Giving him a bodyguard gives him an actual chance to be an NXT champion, in my opinion. So I hate that. I think that's fucking silly and stupid.
Yeah, they blew their load real quick on that.
I appreciate you for saying that because I've been spitting Grayson Waller. Even on our show, I just shit on this guy completely because I'm just sick of it.
Grayson Waller every fucking week. What are you talking about?
Oh, but he said he has.
No, I do.
We all do.
Yeah,
and it's not that TC tries to troll me about it too. Like, oh man, he do okay. Listen, I don't give a fuck. I can't stand him. In fact, he beat rapper Turt Sanga. That was stupid.
So dumb. Like, why is that a thing already? Like, why they just got together like 6 weeks ago. Like, so you literally put this guy with him for one feud with LA Knight just to then take him away. Like, that's the most short-sighted booking that I could fucking ever see. I don't know. I digress on that one. So that's a huge fucking spit, dude. Plus, I don't mean to sound racist or anything, but you got all these big ass Indian dudes, man. You got Veer and Shanky and Sanja. Why don't you just fucking have Jinder start a stable with these big ass fucking dudes and have these dudes wreck some shit, man? They're all in jobber capacities in some setting, really. You got Shanky and Jinder doing nothing. You got Sanja fucking losing to Grayson. And then Veer's going to squash people for 4 months and we know where he's going. So why not like put these big fucking monsters together and have them do something? But I digress. That's a topic for another day. I'm spitting that shit hard.
Veer and Sanga were together. And we're going to talk about Shanky because Shanky, he fucked up tonight. Big time. We'll talk about it though. Shanky might need to go back down to NXT and get some work because that was bad. Katie, spits and swallows.
I'm almost done. My bad. I'll be done 1 second. I'm spitting. I just got 2 more things to spit. I want to spit anything to do with Natalya. I hate Natalya. She sucks. She should have retired years ago. The only thing she does is fucking increase her lip size and find new tag team partners. I'm fucking sick of her, dude. Get the fuck off my screen. And now you need to be telling me that this bitch is going to be on my screen maybe Mondays, maybe Fridays, and fucking Tuesdays. No. Fuck off. I won't be watching that shit. And then I don't want to see Wesley get fucking jobbed out. That kid's talented as fuck, dude. Just because Nash Carter got fucked and that whole thing with Kimberly. I don't want to see Wesley be taking these fucking one-on-one. I know like they want to try to push Zion Quinn, but I don't want to see Wesley just take these one-offs and get fucked, man. So I'm spitting that. And I'll swallow Roxy making her debut. And so overall, pretty 50-50 show for me.
My dude, you are cordially invited to Young Kings Wrestling anytime you want. Between Natty Slander and Grayson Waller Slander, anytime you want to come on the show, let me know. I'm going to talk to TC and we're going to set it up.
My man.
Now I'm going to be replaced by another white guy from Chicago on Young Kings Wrestling. First, I got replaced by an Alabama pastor, and now you found... anyway, Katie?
Damn. I'm swallowing everything. Tony D, Legado. I mean, you could say the implication was there that Santos is going to be swimming with the fishes,
Katie, don't cap.
but
Don't cap.
I mean, if it was, Tony's a bad dude. I don't care. This is a feud I want. This is a feud I need. Like
A bad dude or a bad dude?
both.
Aha!
Just kidding.
There we go. Just one.
Yeah, I love Tony D'Angelo. Like,
Let's play into Reek's theory here about Italian mafiosos and what we know about The Sopranos and The Godfather and Goodfellas and these things, right? In all of these movies, they go to these places, these stores, these business people, right? And they let them know, hey, this is a rough neighborhood. There's some things going on here. NXT parking lot, rough neighborhood. We got your back. You get into business with us, we'll take care of you. And the people that say no, bad things happen to them. They were pre-warned. Santos had Tony D come to him as a fellow leader and extend an olive branch and offering, and Santos told him to go fuck himself. This is not a man that you tell to go fuck himself. So if bad things start happening to you, you asked for it. You did this to you, Santos. You did this.
I mean that's logical right there.
Santos and Delgado is basically the cartel, so of course he's not gonna be like, oh yeah,
cartel versus the mafia.
Exactly. Like
I'm in. I don't care. It's fucking cool.
It's ego.
They're fucking great. Oh hell yeah! You also swallowed BC Bob, so shut up.
Yes, you damn right I did, because he righted a wrong that needed to get righted a long time.
No, he's under the spell of some tiny little blonde bitch and decided to fuck up some poor innocent man.
Oh, she's got some kind of weird fucking violence kink. Like you saw the smile on her face when she sent fucking Ancient Andy off to go wreck people. Yeah, oh yeah, she's into some sick shit.
And what happened to Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, whatever the fuck Stone? What happened to him? I thought
he was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was there.
Because I didn't see this part.
Yeah.
But
and thank you, Tim, because I did forget to mention Zion Quinn defeated Wesley. Wesley's still around, and hopefully, like you said, they find something for him to do. He was part of Matt's Shitty Kids. Matt's Shitty Kids no longer exists because the shittier of the two got released. Or so they say. Possibly. We're not going to cast judgment on someone that we don't know. However, I always liked Wesley better than Nash Carter because Nash Carter looked like he was the king of trailer parks and it just didn't do it for me. So like,
I can see it.
Tell me you didn't look at Nash Carter and think this man lives in a mobile home, spends most of his time shirtless outside of that mobile home.
Smoking a Newport for sure. Yep.
Yeah. I've had a lot of perceived notions about Nash Carter. None of them were positive. I'll just say that.
Okay. We got any other spits or swallows? Katie, you got any more?
No, not really. Everything else was kind of just said. Oh, just kidding. Grimes, Mello, Baby Uso. Fuck yes.
Yes.
Fuck yes. Not just because Carmelo Hayes is damn good to look at. Same with Solo Sikoa, but like this match is gonna slap. I'm so excited, and it's making Grimes look like a damn good champion. He is two of the best. I mean, you have the former North American champion and Solo Sikoa, who's actually really good. Like you have that as your challengers. That's putting a lot of stock into Cameron Grimes. So I'm fucking for it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll swallow that as well. NXT overall, spit or swallow?
Gotta swallow. Always swallowing.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it on the face as well, man. Just
really?
Yeah, NXT doesn't really do it too much for me anymore.
You're one of those people.
Yeah, I am.
You know what? I'm gonna fucking fix this. I am gonna tweet out every day for whoever is running NXT. I'll tweet at Vince. I'll tweet at Bruce. I'll tweet at fucking Sean and Triple H. I'll tag them all in it. NXT 2.0 official theme song by Lifehouse, and we will win you back.
Yes,
we will win you back.
All in, baby. Let's go. Yeah,
I just need you to hang by a moment until we get there.
I've enjoyed their pay-per-views. I think it's just that I don't. It sucks to say that I don't have enough time in my week. Black and Gold used to be my favorite show. It was the show that I used to go to watch. I used to fucking hate on AEW marks and say my show NXT Black and Gold shits all over your show. Well, now my show NXT Black and Gold is AEW Dynamite. So no wonder why I'm an AEW mark now. So I miss my show, and I think that I got some sort of thing in my head that makes me say fuck NXT a little bit, and I kind of got these fuck NXT things in my head. And it's not saying it's a bad show. The talent's there. I get what WWE is doing. They're building real stars now, like real stars. Like they'll be able to take Braun Breaker from NXT to the main roster. They'll be able to take Carmelo Hayes as Carmelo Hayes to the main roster. You couldn't do that with Triple H's NXT. You know, Solo Sikoa. Exactly. So I get it, but I still, you know, I'm a little butthurt, man. Keith Lee, Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, you know, that was my NXT.
And I was with you, and I was in the same boat, but I have just accepted NXT for what it is. And again, Braun Breaker's father, Rick Steiner, being locked in a sex dungeon with Harlan and everything that went on. That's the kind of, don't look at me like that. Tell me it wasn't a sex dungeon, Reek.
I'm not.
Tell me it wasn't.
I am not giving into this shit.
Look at Harlan. Look at Harlan and tell me with the look. You talked about looks of fear on a producer. The look of fear on Rick Steiner's face, knowing what Harlan was going to do to him in that cage. Tell me that wasn't there.
I say all the time that Harlan in the background is like WWE's Michael Myers. Like he just stands there, just transfixed, and you don't know what the hell he's doing when that camera goes off. So I don't leave anything off the table with this dude.
I am going to preemptively apologize for this. Harlan had Rick Steiner in that cage. Arr, arr, arr.
Wow.
So I guess we're Dynamite next, right? That was the next one this week. CM Punk defeats Dustin Rhodes, and then after the match, we have a stare down between Chicago's own CM Punk and the champion Hangman Adam Page. Mark Sterling informs Wardlow. By the way, Katie was live in Pittsburgh for Dynamite and Rampage since they were taped back to back, so she got to see all of this live. Mark Sterling informs Wardlow that he will have to have a direct escort from the building to the ring, from the ring out of the building, and if he wants to carry his bag with him, he is more than welcome, but he is not to spend any time in or around the ring as per his owner MJF, because apparently he signed a contract and his soul to MJF, so MJF can dictate anything that happens to him inside the confines of AEW's buildings, as well as he will be handcuffed anytime he is not in the AEW ring competing, which is kind of kinky on MJF's part, but you know what? I kind of wish they were furry handcuffs. That would have been nice. The Blackpool Combat Club defeat what I am dubbing Brock Lee and Brock and Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin in a trios match. Undisputed Elite backstage promo. We have a name now, so I cannot any longer call them Undefined Erection. They are officially Undisputed Elite. We are individual losers, but together we are unstoppable, is basically what they said. Undisputed Elite 10-man tag open challenge next week, and that includes the Emo Bucks, who apparently decided we're going to dress in black and not talk and just mope. Yeah.
Be nice, Paul.
Okay.
They lost FTR and they're really sad. TK, not this TK. Koki Khan.
What's good?
Oh yeah.
Big announcement gets hijacked by Adam Cole. So he brings out the owner of New Japan Pro Wrestling that I have never heard of or didn't even know existed. I just assumed it was some guy on the internet who created it on a WWE 2K video game and everyone got hyped about it and loved it. And that's where all this lore came from. But apparently he's a real person, owns New Japan, came out. They were getting ready to announce the Forbidden Door. And Adam Cole's like, whoa, listen, I wrestled New Japan and I was special. So I think I should make the announcement because I'm fucking Adam Cole. And he does. And then on top of that, lets us know that on Rampage, he'll be fighting one half of the Itchy and Scratchy show, Itchy. So that was fun. Put on a lot of weight, by the way. Does not look like he used to on The Simpsons. Completely new look. Jade and her baddies have a See You Friday bitch promo for the problem Marina Shafir, who had a problem wrestling on Friday.
Yeah, she
Wardlow
sucks.
defeated the Butcher. Okay, so Rick, for you, MJF has decided that his money is best spent trying to harm Wardlow by hiring people who have failed to do things that he's paid them for in the past. This week it was the Butcher. He rehired this assassin to lose again, which he did. And next week it is going to be Lance Archer, who again, we'll talk about it. Eddie has a message for Garcia. Kyle O'Reilly defeats Jungle Boy. He is the first of the Undisputed Elite to qualify for the Owen Cup. Adam Cole, again, also going to be in the Owen Cup. So we already got announced FTR is going to face each other. We may get, MJF pays another guy who can't win a match to fight Wardlow and Lance Archer. We got a Hook enhancement match, his first match on Dynamite. Danhausen then comes out, challenges Hook, and says, "Fuck you for no selling my curse, bitch. I want a match." And I'm all for Danhausen versus fucking sleepy Justin Bieber's wrestling Justin Bieber. Like, I don't get this guy's fucking hair. I don't we'll get into it. Sammy and Tay do a shitty kind of heel be mad promo. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with them. Like, they want us to cheer, but we weren't cheering, we were booing. So now they're just like, all right, well, we don't care what you guys think. We're just gonna kind of make out in front of you and tease you about how good the sex is between us and how you can't have either of us. And then the Men of the Year come out and have turned babyface now, because I was actually supporting Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Dan Lambert because Sammy and Tay kind of suck. So we're getting Scorpio Sky versus Sammy in a ladder match, and the stipulation for Sammy accepting the ladder match for the TNT title was that they get their intergender tag team match that they've been asking for. So Dan gave it up. They're going to get the tag team match that no one wants to see. And then we also get Scorpio Sky versus Sammy, your 3-time TNT champion, in a ladder match for the TNT title. We got a House of Black promo. They're coming to collect a debt and kill the sun. Fuego del Sol, the sun. The fire of the sun is going to get put out like it's Charmander's tail, and it will be death. Vanessa Bourne loses to, Danielle Camella loses to Britt Baker.
Of course.
Britt runs down the Owen Cup competition and has a real hard time with this promo. This was not Britt's best promo in fucking Pittsburgh. She kind of choked. And it wasn't even like, because people were, it wasn't her being out of breath. It was just like nothing she was saying hit at all.
No, I heard this promo.
She was very winded. She should have taken like a minute to walk around the ring. I hear what you're saying, that it wasn't her best promo. She messed up like twice. She flubbed lines, but that was because she couldn't breathe, man. I watched,
but even the things she was saying weren't good.
I was like, dude, she can't even. In my opinion, I thought she couldn't concentrate. And I love but I think that she needed like 60 seconds to collect herself and take a breath and then start talking, because she couldn't talk, man. Like, that was bad. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if she was gassed and couldn't think of what she wanted to say or what the deal was, but this was not my favorite Britt Baker promo. And she's actually gotten to be a really good promo as of late. So this was an off night for her. And then in our main event, it is a coffin match, because apparently WWE owns the term casket match. Andrade loses to Darby Allin in a coffin match. And that, AFO destroys Darby. Sting is in the crowd dressed as himself, reveals that he is himself, and then tries to commit suicide by jumping off something again, because that is Sting's gimmick now, is he is just constantly trying to kill himself by jumping off high things at 60-something years old. And then at the end, I know Tim's favorite thing, and one of my favorite things about Tim, out come the Hardy Boys for shits and giggles. Just to stand on the rampway. The Hardy Boys came out and they were there.
The fuck was the point of that?
Wait, so since I was there live, I don't know when they cut TV. Did the Hardys say anything?
Oh no, they just came out and
That's awkward.
Jeff looked like he threw out his fucking arm deleting. He's like,
did.
"Ooh,
It
my
looked like he did."
arm." Yeah, retire, bitch. Fuck.
And this is why
Eric, how
I
do you
left
feel
him and
about
want him
that?
on the show.
Listen, I haven't really said much about Jeff since he's gone to AEW, and we've disclosed the reasons why. I just hope for the man's continued health in a less structured environment, and that's all I can say from there.
My statement had nothing to do with him drinking, drugs, doing whatever the fuck he wants to do in his life.
I know.
My statement had everything to do with watching his fat fucking brother parade around AEW for the last 18 months and then making some big fucking deal about his fucking fat brother now joining him in AEW, neither one of which are good in the ring, neither one of which can fucking move anymore. And since they've been there, they've been a fucking focal point on my TV each and every week when I got 40 other guys that should be. I digress.
Well, I've been one for saying that Matt should have retired a long time ago. Jeff was on the downslide before he left WWE, but because it was so abrupt, it was like, okay. My whole thing about Jeff, like I said, he can't do like his moves anymore, so it's like that kind of takes the.
What do you mean he can't do his moves? His move is falling down. He has one move and it's falling off things, onto people, into people. That's all Jeff Hardy does. And he absolutely can do that. The problem is, like Sting, he's getting to the point of where once he's fallen, he cannot get back up, or at least not as quick. But literally, again, if you watch a Jeff Hardy match, go watch any Jeff Hardy match. Every move that he does involves him falling down onto somebody or into somebody. Every single one.
Use the correct verbiage, sir. It is falling with fucking style. And that is why it is.
This man bobbed his head to jagged on one jagged edge one time, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's the coolest fucking thing in the world, and we love him." Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, look, I can speak from the brother side for a long. Jeff has been with the culture for a long time. Jagged Edge just confirmed what we already knew, but like I said, falling with style, and he can't do it.
You guys got him in the racial draft. I understand that.
Yeah, and he can't do that anymore.
You got Jeff. We got Brandy. It is what it is.
Okay, I can agree with that. No, but it takes a sting out of everything, so it doesn't. His in-ring work don't hit the way it used to. And like I said, when your promoter is doing all this, then Lord only knows what his policies are going to be. We saw what happened to Moxley, so I'm just concerned that he stays healthy and gets through this last phase, which needs to be the last phase, and let's move on. That's all I got for that.
So Tim's spitting the Hardys. I'm spitting the entire main event because Andrade needed that win far more than Darby. I don't understand why Darby won that. Andrade, I don't think has won a single fucking match since he's joined AEW, and it's goddamn ridiculous.
I'm spitting the whole show because
tag match, I think.
We have been saying this for I don't know how, at least the last year, however long Andrade's been on AEW. This man basically has a match quota because he's basically been on AEW on Dynamite or Rampage like 2 times in 6 months or so, and within that, half of those matches were with Pac. He had, I think, what was it? One match that what's his name interfered in that he won, and then the rematch on Rampage, which was better. It was a great match. But then after that, you barely see him on TV. He'll cut the occasional promo. I think he was on last week with the whole TNT title segment and stuff like that. And then he's gonna lose to Darby. Like, we don't know when we're gonna see Andrade again. And the time we do see him, he loses a match that he don't need to lose. So no, that's getting a projectile spit.
And he went into a coffin that had thumbtacks on the lid, so he may be dead. We don't know.
So while I hardcore agree with you guys, I'm a hardcore spit that main event. That was on my list for sure. Spit that main event big time. Andrade, while yes, I spit Andrade's booking in AEW. He's no better off than he was in WWE. He might even be worse off. He has been given like 6 or 7 main event matches on Dynamite, and like 2 or like 5 on Dynamite, like 2 on Rampage. I don't think he's fucking won one of them. So you're right. Like when he's not in catering, he's getting main event matches, but he's not fucking winning them. So what the fuck? And he looked so cool when he debuted, man. He looked so badass. We thought we were gonna get him to wrestle. We thought we were gonna see like what we thought we had in him in NXT. But you know the common denominator, what he had Selena Vega. He had a mouthpiece. He had a sexy woman with him. That manager is so huge, and it's such a lack in 2022 and like the past 25 years, really. But he had that in NXT, which was huge for him. And really, at the end of the day, as much as we all love Andrade, that dude is as vanilla as it gets, man. He's a good in-ring worker, but he's pretty vanilla, man. But yeah, I'm spitting. Andrade did need to win that. Yes, I'm spitting the whole thing. Why are you doing a random ass fucking coffin casket match on Dynamite? Why are you giving this match 14 fucking minutes and that fucking Dustin Rhodes 15 minutes to start the show? And why is Andrade losing again? So yeah, I'm spitting that, and that'll lead into my big time spit, which was Dustin to start the fucking show. Sick of you. Get the fuck out of here. Just like the Hardys, retire, leave. Don't need to see it. He occupies match time with Black, with Brian, with Punk. Why is this guy taking so much time on my screen? And you can't even blame it to nepotism anymore because Cody's fucking gone. So Tony Khan must have a fucking thing with this guy. Retire him. Put him down. Get him the fuck out of here. I'm done with him.
I'm not as harsh on Dustin because at his age, for him to still be going the way he does, I give some credit. I give some kudos to him. Like, okay, you got a work rate at that age that a lot of guys don't have. So I'll give him like kudos for that. I agree he shouldn't take that much damn time, but I'm like, you know what? Your body's holding up that well. Kind of like Jericho. Both of these guys, 50s are in that range and still being able to go on a nightly basis. I give kudos for that. But yeah, I agree. It shouldn't take that much time.
I know I'm raising my hand on my own show and I don't need to. I run the shit.
What?
Why is one of the greatest character workers of all time in a company where he doesn't have a character? That's what I want to know.
I had a Goldust mask my whole life, dude. Oh, I love Goldust, okay? But I don't need to see it anymore. They got 90 fucking people on that roster. I don't need 15 minutes from Dustin Rhodes at 53. You're right, Reek. Duke could go. But you know what? Go on Dark and go. I don't need to see you on Dynamite.
If he goes to Dark, we'll never see him again. That is where dreams go to die. Like, I'm sorry. When you pack like 15 plus matches on a card that's going to be on YouTube, I'm not going to watch unless it's somebody that like, because TC and you guys, they cover these wrestling promotions out there in Vegas, and a lot of those guys get on these shows and stuff like that. If one of those guys are there, I'll watch because we support them. But outside of that, it's like I don't care about half of these matches. It's like you just put this on, and most of them are like quick, like a minute and a half, a couple minutes, and they have to be. But it's like it's not doing nothing for me. It's really not. So
it's nice that they're scouting talent on Dark, but also, as I've said, if you're not telling any fucking stories, I'm not going to watch it. And the only story that they've told on Dark was between Sonny Kiss and Joey, and I don't give a fuck about Joey Natalya. He does not do it for me. I'm not entertained by Mr. Natalya. I'm not interested in anything he has to do. His spring breaks, his GCW bullshit, none of it. Not into it. The only good thing about Joey is Brandy Lauren. And I would much rather just see her like manage Brandy, get Brandy bookings, put Brandy on my TV and retire because I don't need to see you do your bullshit anymore, Joey. I'm good.
She should have been in Toxic Attraction. I don't know why it wasn't her and Gigi with Mandy. Like they weren't
fantastic.
They weren't long-term thinking that one out at all.
And see, that's dead on the money. Because then I could appreciate JC for who she is and not put her with the other two of them and have her be the third wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like it would. I could have my cake and eat it too. So he
right
because
Brandy on the same level, so it'd be 3 times rather than
exactly.
Yeah.
Then we wouldn't have anyone missing out. It's like you could appreciate all of them equally.
Katie, you got anything to add? You were at the show, Spits and Swallows.
I was. I have to swallow CM Punk because I haven't seen him live. I think the last time I saw him live was maybe WrestleMania 23. Exactly. Like, be in the environment with the music is so fucking cool. So I'm swallowing the match because it wasn't bad. Like, got me excited. This is before I ended up getting a headache like halfway through the fucking show. So I had a headache the rest of the night, which kind of fucking sucked. But this was before that, so I got to enjoy that. I did witness Sting jump seemingly to his death, which was kind of interesting to see. I didn't even hear the Bucks in Undisputed Elite. They were showing it. I didn't hear a damn thing that was said. So you saying that was the first time I even heard that. Swallowing Danhausen, spinning Cook. I don't give a fuck. I didn't want to see this boy wrestle.
That is
what?
I was gonna say that too. I never got behind Hook to begin with, but the more I keep seeing this, y'all played Street Fighter before, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he looks like Saget if Saget had a bad like thing of hair. And
Yeah.
the more I create that analogy, the worse it gets for me. Like I didn't give a shit that you were Taz's son. I don't care about that. Because I mean, let's be honest. Taz only had X amount of time before he got put in the commentary table too. So it's like this is just okay. And your thing is okay. You're just the cool kid because you don't talk and shit like that. No, this never did it for me. It never did it for me.
Oh,
But
we'll,
yeah,
we'll talk about him talking because he talks.
Oh, it's-
okay.
He doesn't talk to women. He's like from Big Bang Theory, Raj. He can't talk to
Raj.
women, but he can talk.
Oh boy.
Heidenreich style to Danhausen. I have to swallow Brit. Pittsburgh. I just love seeing Brit in Pittsburgh. It's just so cool. The match was great. Her promo, I'm blaming it on the fact that she was home again. I'll blame it on that. You can blame it on anything else. Her being out of breath, it being a shitty promo, her parents being ringside. I'll just blame it on the fact that she was in Pittsburgh. Swallowing Wardlow because Wardlow. Fuck MJF. MJF was up in a box throwing popcorn at people with Sean Spears. So I was watching that more than the match, actually. I don't even remember what else happened. I mean, I'm just gonna swallow the whole thing because I was there.
So, and real quick, so just so that I'm updated, he still hasn't gotten his hands on MJF yet, right?
No.
Oh no, nor should he for quite some time.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't want them to, because I felt like they took so long to get to this portion of the story. So it's like I don't want to be.
It's gonna happen at Double or
dragged.
Nothing.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Probably.
And
But we
it'll
still
probably
got-
be Wardlow's
it's a month
contract
away.
on a pole or a ladder match or something like that to get Wardlow's
Somebody on a
title.
pole.
Yeah,
Something.
to get his contract.
But
That'd
yeah,
be something weird.
yeah, I thought the show in general was I mean, I got like 50-50, I guess, same way. I thought once Punk and Hangman after the Dustin match, once what I've been waiting for is this meeting of these two, because Hangman is so over. Like you can hear how over he is every time you watch the show, as is CM Punk. I think the only guy in that company that maybe rivaled them other than Mox as far as popularity, or to rival Punk in popularity other than Mox, is maybe Hangman himself. So when those two, and like I was all in on Hangman getting that title, and like when he finally did, man, like, you know, I was hard, my nipples were hard, I was fucking busting all over the place, all right. And I'm a CM Punk guy, and I didn't want CM Punk to get the title right away. So I feel like they've held him off long enough now that it is his time. He should win it at Double or Nothing. And the initial confrontation, got me, baby. And then it led me even more to thinking when that 8-foot Japanese guy who apparently runs New Japan Pro Wrestling came out. CM Punk going into that show as world champion makes the utmost sense. I wanted to see Punk and Okada anyways. The two of them being world champions going against each other in the main event would be something special. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe they both wrestle separately, so neither one of the world champions lose. I can kind of see that happening too. Or maybe they fucking wrestle. Maybe Punk wrestles a AEW guy and Okada wrestles a New Japan guy. Who the fuck knows?
I heard Kenta wants smoke.
Yeah, I need Punk and Kenta.
Yeah, I'm down with that for sure. I don't know if Kenta will be healthy yet. So that'll be a thing. I do think that we'll definitely get that down the road. But I think at this show we need to see Punk for someone big. I don't know if Kenta's big enough, but Kenta actually might be that guy, that New Japan heel who could wrestle Punk for the belt, who Punk could beat, and it wouldn't hinder them in any capacity over there.
You guys are talking about Hideo Itami. Okay, I'm on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Matt.
I'm with you now.
Hideo Itami.
But yeah, I thought the announcement was fine. Wardlow obviously always gets my juices flowing. I love that big beefy man, dude. I got to meet him,
Yes.
take a picture with him. I got to touch him, dude. Oh man, God, I love that guy, man.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side, I like Hook. He is tiny, but I think he's entertaining. All right. And you ask the allure of him. You know what the allure of him is? I don't know what the allure of him is. His music's cool. I like his hair.
He's sleepy. He looks like he woke up from a nap.
Yeah, I feel everyone who tells me that they don't dig him, and I'm like, you know what? I respect that. But I think that he's actually pretty decent in the ring. I don't think he's ever going to be anything. I think he'll always be like a low mid-card guy at best. But like to develop the character, I think they're doing a fine job. And Sammy and Ty actually talked to me on AEW TV. It was so cool. Did you guys hear him? Or no? Did you hear him? Did you hear when they said to all of their real fans who have been there with them and who aren't disgusted by them and who still support them, like me, this guy right here from the Wrestling Index, who have always supported and always will support Sammy and Ty, they thanked me and they said they will always be with me and I'll always be with them. And to the rest of you, they said to fuck off. And I said 4 months ago on a podcast, I said, let's have this happen. And they finally listened to me. TK listened to TK, and it happened. And I loved every second of it. I know you're itching. Let's go.
No. See, I was there. I couldn't hear a damn thing Sammy and Tay were saying because they were getting booed out the building.
And that's why they needed to do it.
I couldn't even hear Ethan Page. And like I got a little hyped because like he was screaming at something.
What a promo. He cut a promo. Yeah.
And apparently it was very good. I couldn't hear it because people were still booing. And plus I had a jackass behind me the entire time screaming. So I don't know what was happening a lot of the time.
Hence the headache.
Literally. But I liked Sammy in the beginning. Ty Conti's a meal. She's not a snack. She's a meal. You could do way better than Sammy. Fuck that. So I don't like them together. I don't like them showing their shit to the world. Like, start an OnlyFans if you're gonna do that. Matt would agree.
And I was gonna say, if they want me to support them, drop the sex tape. I will support the sex tape. Other than that, you do not have my support.
I've been holding off on this thought process for a while, but I just, since we're all here, I figure I'll ask the question: is this another Edge and Lita?
I think that
the circumstances are somewhat similar, if you really think about it.
And AEW does like to push that adult boundary a little more than WWE does now, even though Carmella came out and said she wants to be the next Edge and Lita. And then a lot of people have been talking about doing the live sex celebration in WWE.
Everybody can just have a live sex celebration.
But if you had any sort of booking abilities and you saw what was going on with Sammy and Ty on the internet, how in the fucking world wouldn't you capitalize, put them together and do this? She's already getting skimpier dressed on TV. The tongue lashing they gave each other after he won the title was insane, dude. Like it, yeah, right. Like it's coming. All right.
And I say it now because, like I said, they're digging into it and they're just letting you know we don't give a fuck. We're doing it. You're still gonna watch it, so we're gonna keep doing it. Like.
And it wouldn't have been right. And it wouldn't have been a big deal had he not proposed to his girlfriend, who sadly, and I said it, all right. And I'm not a fucking 10 by any means. All right. I think my wife is way out of my league. But I said when Sammy proposed to her in the ring, and I said, this kid's just getting a start right now and proposing to this average woman in the middle of this ring. It is gonna backfire on his ass. Fucking 4 months later, he's got a dime. All right. And everyone hates him now because he proposed to some girl in the middle of the ring because he thought it was a good idea.
I just think he's kind of a douchebag. I don't mind. Like, that's his business, straight up. Like, people get married and divorced and cheat and do all sorts of things all the time. I don't get mad at them on the internet. That's none of my business. It does not direct me, or it does not affect me directly. So whatever the fuck happened between them, whether it was going on before he ended shit with her or if he ended shit with, like, that is none of my goddamn business, and I don't care. You do you. Same thing with Corey and Carmella. However that went down, you do you. Like, you are adults, you are in real life relationships, and your real life shit is your real life shit. However, Sammy just strikes me as a douchebag. And because he strikes me as a douchebag, he looks like a douchebag, he talks like a douchebag, he moves like a douchebag. That is where I take issue with him. And then also the inherent jealousy of the fact that he got Tay Conti because he's a douchebag.
Yeah, that's all very fair. And then last thing I'll say is I agree. You cannot turn Dan Lambert face. I get if you want to turn Scorpio Sky face. If you're gonna briefly push this face thing with them, then like maybe have Sky and Van Zant lose at Double or Nothing, and then have Ethan Page, Dan Lambert, and Paige Van Zant turn on Scorpio Sky. Sky goes off on his own, gets a face run, and then those three go back and be heel, because Dan Lambert can not be, nor should ever be, a face. And the House of Black just cutting a promo on Fuego del Sol makes me want to fucking bash my head on the wall, man. What are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing with House of Black, man? That's crazy. Malachi Black should be a guy, upper mid card, world champion material. And you got this guy in a fucking faction feuding with a guy who doesn't even belong on the fucking roster. I can't. And you know, I just did my last episode on the Wrestling Index. It was all about the good and bad of AEW booking. While there's some good, the bad of Malachi Black and Andrade was a huge fucking focal point. And Black is no better off in AEW than he was in WWE. And maybe that's why.
That part I'll disagree with, because House of Black does have a lot of potential and it did have a hot start. Whereas back in WWE, he was a Rey Mysterio fan who lost an eye. So I will say main roster, he's doing better than he did on the main roster.
He's been in AEW for almost a year. They've had 3 pay-per-views. He hasn't been on the pay-per-view once.
That is true.
We're on AEW Dynamite, about to go into a 4th pay-per-view a month from now. He's feuding with a guy called Fuego del Sol. I mean,
I agree with that, but at least he's playing into his character and gimmick, and they're allowing him to do that. Whereas before, they stripped away everything that made him cool. And he was like, I used to watch Rey Mysterio when I was a kid, and I really like Rey Mysterio, and I'm going to go help Rey Mysterio because he's my mentor. Like, when the fuck was Rey Mysterio your mentor? At what point? Was it after he killed the guy and you're like, oh, murder, cool, let me join that? I don't think so.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, it's equivalent. Like, what are you doing? Like, your one part of Dynamite this week was a fucking vignette about Fuego del Sol.
I let him wreck flag. I mean, I love Malachi. I'm not sold on Brody King in ring wise. Like, he looks like a beast, but he does not work. Like, I want to see Brody King work like John Bradshaw Layfield. That's how he should work, and he doesn't. So he's not doing it for me in these matches. Buddy, I really did like. I get the connection there, but again, does not seem to fit that group for me. That was a weird. I know why they did it, but it's a weird thing. Like, he's not one of those guys. So I agree with you on a lot of what you said. I still think because he had the feud with Cody and he teamed up with Andrade for a little bit, which was fun. I still feel like they're doing him better in AEW, despite the fact they're just going to wreck Fuego del Sol for a month than WWE did by him when they called him up. But none of this is in any way, shape, or form in comparison to how great they booked him on NXT Black and Gold. That is the biggest problem.
Black and Gold.
So,
and let's say real quick, I wholeheartedly, I did not know that they were shifting Dan and the rest of them face. That is
it literally just happened.
Literally on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's the biggest what the fuck to me, because I can say personally, I met Dan Lambert about 3 years ago, and I've told this to some people before. The gimmick he's doing is not far off from how the guy really is. Like, he's a cool dude, but you can tell he's a bit of a dick. So you're asking this guy to go outside of what he really is if you're trying to really push this. I don't...
So really all it was, Reek, was because everyone hated Sammy and Ty so much that everything that Dan Lambert said, people were agreeing with, but he was still Dan Lambert. He was
It
a
was like
dick.
the same thing with
okay.
Brandy.
Yeah.
Like when he
Okay,
would
so,
have
yeah, so-
face-offs with Brandy, he would get cheers because everyone fucking can't stand Brandy and Cody. It's
Now,
like the same
Ethan
thing.
I was
Page's
there I
promo.
was in the building. I was on TV that day. It was awesome. I was like, boo, they caught me. It was dope.
Yeah, we hate you, so we'll cheer whatever the fuck he says. Okay.
Yeah. Now Ethan Page had a hell of a promo though. That was a babyface promo. He
I wish I
killed
could actually hear it. I'm pissed.
Dude, that kid spit fucking fire, man.
I could hear a
was like,
little bit of it, but that was it. Pissed.
Any other spits or swallows from Dynamite? Overall, Reek said he's spitting.
I have to swallow.
Angry.
Katie's swallowing because she was there. Tim?
Yeah, big swallow. Big Dustin and the Hardys to bookend the show won't ruin it for me. I enjoyed it.
I'm just angry and bitter.
I'm gonna take this one on the
No.
face. I'm taking this one on the face. So SmackDown. We kick it off with a contract signing between Charlotte and Ronda. Adam announces that Drew Gulak is his new assistant and informs us that somehow he walked all the way down to the ring for a contract signing and forgot the contract. So Drew has to come out. Drew has a PowerPoint for us to explain to us what an I Quit match is, because every time we have a stipulation for the people who have never watched wrestling before, to give them context, we have to explain to them how a match works. However, Charlotte's like, no, I got this. I'll explain it to Ronda. And she tells her how the I Quit match works and how she's been fantasizing about Ronda. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but Charlotte beat Ronda at WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
Never would have guessed.
Butch loses to Xavier Woods and then loses his shit, attacks a security guard, and runs off like a wild man into the crowd. Meanwhile, Sheamus and Ridge Holland are just like, well, Pat, can you please go? Like, will somebody please go get him? Somebody do something. And they just let him like run off. Like, we have no idea. Fucking just, he's gone. Aaliyah flirts with Ricochet. Jinder and Shanky cock block Ricochet. And then Ricochet says he'll take anyone, no matter how big they are. And Shanky's like, oh yeah, can you take me? And Ricochet says, yeah, I'll try and take you. I've taken a finger. I think I can handle that. We got a Gunther enhancement match. Because again, something apparently we need is to just watch Gunther, lose to or beat people that we don't know, to show us how dominant Gunther is. RK blows, powwows with Drew and Randy. Riddle's trying to bury the hatchet. Randy doesn't seem like he's really having it. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Fuck that guy. Sammy's lurking behind Drew, listening, concocts a plan. Matt Riddle defeats Jey Uso, which was some bullshit. We have a very weird Xia Li vignette where she's like, I was the protector for a week, and now I protect no one because they're not worthy of me, so I protect myself.
We got Xia Li on TV, and that's all that fucking matters.
We didn't get Shotzi.
Where the fuck has Shotzi been?
I don't fucking know.
Reek.
Like,
Guarantee she's
Like,
in one of the
honestly,
fucking matches next week and loses.
like-
That's how they're gonna be.
Like, honestly, if you didn't just say that, it wouldn't have even sprang to mind, because it's been like that long to me.
Months.
I mean, I've been mad ever since they got rid of the tank. So, like, yeah.
Apparently they're not Team Bad. They're the Boss and Glow Connection.
Boo.
They had an interview.
Oh.
Natalya came out because she still exists with Shayna, and they said, yeah, you beat everyone, but you didn't beat us. And they're like, no, you were there. You lost. You watched us win. It happened. And then I think Shayna shoved Sasha, and they're like, yeah, we want a match. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll give you a match. I was hyped for this. I really thought when they're like, we beat everyone, something cool was going to happen. Like somebody was going to come out. Devil's advocate, if you had at least given me fucking Natalya and Beth Phoenix, I would have been that much more excited about it than I was Natalya and Shayna again. The Bellas, something
Anybody.
new, anything, but we got jack shit. Baron Corbin runs up to Moss and he's like, listen, I'm really sorry that I was mean to you and I want to be friends again. And Moss is like, go fuck yourself. Then he goes out there and he defeats Angel Garza. And then Corbin's like, no one tells me to go fuck myself, and attacks Riddick Moss. And as long as he's still Madcap Moss, I don't give a fuck about what happens to him. So, like, change the fucking gimmick. If he's not going to be with Corbin anymore, there's no need for the suspenders and the fucking weird shorts and the stupid jokes. Calling him Madcap Moss. Rebrand him as Riddick or Moss or whatever the fuck you want to call him. Get him some real wrestling gear and give him a fucking character that isn't I used to tell bad jokes for Baron Corbin. Sammy tries to turn Roman Reigns on Drew. He's like, listen, they were saying bad things about you, bro, and I'm not a snitch, but I'm here to snitch. Like, you don't understand. This is your show. I acknowledge you, and I will suck your dick if you just please help me out tonight. Like, please. I need to win. Roman looks annoyed. Sammy leaves, and then Roman's like, motherfuckers got my name in their mouth. Go get my name out of their mouth. Sends the Usos. Lacey continues her story. She is still wearing that one-piece see-through bathing suit, and I still cannot pay attention to a goddamn word she says when she's speaking while she's wearing that. Any sort of mesh, it does it for me, and you cannot expect me to pay attention dressed like that and feel bad for whatever coked up meth trailer park life that you had before you got into the military. And then our main event, Sammy versus Drew in a lumberjack match, ends when Sammy escapes the lumberjacks into the crowd and runs away again for the third time, to which Adam Pearce comes out and says, you know what? We haven't had enough of this shit. So next week, Sammy versus Drew in a steel cage. And then Jinder and Shanky attack Drew. And then Drew fights off Jinder while Shanky stands there for a very long time and watches without doing anything, and then waits for Drew McIntyre to headbutt him directly in the mouth. Literally just stood there like, and waited as Jinder got his ass whooped, and then took a headbutt to the mouth. Didn't try to fight him off, nothing. Send this man back to NXT. He needs some work.
Send him somewhere.
Please.
Jesus.
Spits and swallows from SmackDown. And Tim, you're still muted, just so you know.
Okay. I'm spitting, and I've had this position for a while, but I'm spitting contract signings at this point, because you're just finding every reason in the world to sit people down at this table with these contracts. It's like, what possible scenario, what other creative direction do you have at this point for it? And listen, Ronda Charlotte needs to be over as soon as possible. If you're going to put it on Ronda, get it over with. I was happy that Charlotte won, but I didn't think we would be continuing. I thought Ronda would disappear until, the summer. Apparently she's not. So get this shit over with. Charlotte and Ronda both. I could never stand Ronda on the promos, but Charlotte, I've said this before, just seems like she does not care about this shit, and she does not want to be here in this situation. So let's get her out of it as soon as we possibly can. So please let this be the end of it. But I will swallow the fact that PowerPoints are back, because Drew Gulak. Listen, Drew Gulak and the PowerPoints. Listen, that was my shit. Okay, Drew Gulak is a real one. So bringing them PowerPoints back just got y'all swallowed. I'm spitting on top of spitting on top of spitting. You force feeding Lacey Evans and these babyface promos on me. Listen, when someone who is a natural heel is not a heel anymore, there's something that you got to do to turn that person face. Like, there has to be something significant happening. You sitting up here telling me, I already know you've been in the service, in the Marines. We know you come from a broken home, you fucked up, childhood and stuff like that. You got challenges in life. I get it. That's great. But you're force feeding sympathy to me. That is not. Do we not go through 5 years of Roman Reigns not getting sympathy? And I said this last week with TC. Lana got slammed through a table on 9 consecutive weeks of television, and she did not get sympathy. You are not going to sit here and force feed me sympathy for someone who's a natural heel. It's not going to work. It's
Fun
just
fact: Lana dyed her hair black, brown, and she's
Yeah.
on TikTok. And I kind of wish she'd come back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, that's
I would
another
think
one who
about
was a great manager. I pray to fucking God that another guy who I didn't mention because he wasn't on the show, so it ain't relevant with Spit and Swallows. But when they fucking bring Miro back, they better bring her back with him and
he's
give
injured.
him a
So
little.
when he comes back, I'm sure they'll do something.
Oh
with him.
yeah, he's been injured for 7 months. Yeah, suck my dick. I'm sure he's still injured. Not you, of course, but
I was gonna
you
say I
know.
could drive there. I mean, we
No,
got away from
we're
Showland,
close.
but you're
I
not
would-
far.
I would never speak to you that way, such good sir. Not yet, at
Oh,
least.
God.
That's a good
Anyway.
sir.
Hold on. So I got a complete retort though, to what you're saying about Lacey. So is she such a natural heel, or is that bullshit Southern Belle horrible gimmick just what they
That gimmick
forced
was
up?
bro. That gimmick was great.
I thought that gimmick sucked.
No,
I thought
you
she
had-
sucked because of that gimmick. I thought she was talented in the ring, but that gimmick like hindered her in her abilities.
I liked it
Go ahead, yeah.
because it's not something that we saw all the time. Like it was more creative than usual. It's like, you hadn't really seen like the whole Southern Belle thing. And so because I'm a creative person, when it comes to characters, it's like I was into that. That had me invested. And then I see, okay, she can work in the ring. She needed a little work, because we saw with her with Becky and stuff like that. She needed a little more time. I thought she should have been in NXT a little bit longer. But as she just gradually gets a little bit better, it's like, okay, I see the full package of it. But it's like to go from that to just switching gears and now we're a face, it's like I need something to happen first. Like, let her get the shit beat out of her. Let her get betrayed by somebody. Like, let something happen to trigger that. Don't just tell me one day she's all of a sudden a face. Like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
No, I get that for sure. I think that they should have from the start pushed on the fact that she was a Marine. I think they talked about her being a Marine, like while she was the Southern Belle. Like, there's no reason. First of all, you're not. People know, like I know you want to create characters, all right, but this woman is an actual Marine. She's a badass woman, and you're making her this Southern Belle. All right, I don't think she's such a natural heel. I think that this role that they're trying to have her in right now, I think she could be a real fucking badass and a real threat to when Rousey wins the title from Charlotte, which she will. Rousey will eventually turn heel. No one wants to keep her as a face. I think we all think Sasha will be the one to take the belts off of Rousey down the road, as she should. But maybe, just maybe, it's a badass Marine, bad bitch, Lacey Evans coming back. And I think that these vignettes are going to set her up the right way. So right when she starts, she comes back. She starts wrestling these heels. She'll beat Shayna a couple times, Natty a couple times. And then, she starts adding some legitimacy. I don't know how long before she can go at a Rousey. But Rousey will be heel sooner than later, as we know. And I think you could have done it your way. Your way is good booking for sure. You bring her back. But how do you then convert her from the Southern Belle to being a badass? You keep her as Lacey Evans, the Southern Belle. She's just a face now. Or do you change her character to, I'm no longer the Southern Belle, I'm going, because I like this G.I. Jane fucking Marine shit she's got going on now. It's hot in both capacities. Like, it's hot and it's hot, like, because she's about to whoop some ass.
Well, if she had started out with that, I would have been down with it. And based off like what her presentation is going to be, it's like I'm gonna need some time to like see it through and see how I like it going forward. But the crowd's not like out of it, so I guess they're giving it some attention and like they're giving it a chance. But it's like it's one of the things like I got to see how it's gonna play out.
All right, I'm capping the Lacey Evans talk because Reek still has to go off on Natalya, and that's going to be a whole thing. So
man, I'm gonna make that short.
we're capping Lacey.
Yeah,
continue.
I'm gonna swallow the Butch that whole outburst thing, and everybody went off, myself included, about the whole name change thing. My thing was, listen, you got to have a reason, and give me some time to have that transition. That's all I said about that. Having him on the main roster, especially with this group, is perfect. He's got the whole Scrappy Doo thing going on, and I love it. Like it's hilarious. So I mean, if they feud with New Day for a little bit longer, maybe through the pay-per-view, cool. I'm down with that.
On that, while you're
thing-
thinking, hold on,
What?
real quick. So I've been back and forth on the whole name change thing, because on one point, it doesn't matter what you call him. He's still Pete Dunne. He's still going to wrestle as Pete Dunne, which I agree with, which is a point that TC has made. And I agree with that point. On the other hand, as I said at the very beginning of the show, my favorite thing about wrestling is stories and characters. And when you give me a story and I get attached to a character, and then you change the character and you change the character's name and expect me to pretend like I don't know any better and like everything else didn't happen, that annoys the fuck out of me. Because why am I investing my time in a character that isn't going to be that character once he goes up to the main roster? So
Yeah.
I'm divided on the name change thing, but please.
That's true. That's true. Spitting the whole thing with Shanky, I don't know why he would be even remotely close to a title. And I think Tim, like I agree with what you said before. We're going to unify the titles because the IC title has been so disrespected and it pisses me off to no end. So just unify it with the US title at this point. Get rid of it. Well, not get rid of it, but unify it. I'm spitting Riddle beating Jey Uso. Okay, I'm not nearly as deep in as Matt is about it. Matt is deeply invested in this hatred, but listen, I've never been that big on Matt Riddle to begin with. I was more into NXT Matt Riddle, not the turned up stupidity Matt Riddle. But like now is just like I said before, it's stale. We need to just pull the trigger on the breakup. I think Matt Riddle's going to be the one to do it, but we need to get to this point. And Jey Uso,
I need you to stop putting that out in the universe for real.
It's
no more.
True.
Never again. No.
How predictable would it be if Randy Orton is the one that turns on Riddle? He always
it would be
100%. 100%.
That's the way it should be, because Matt Riddle is too much of a fucking idiot to get one over on Randy Orton. And all I need is Randy to kick him in his goddamn face. That's all I need and all I want. And I'm gonna jump on that because Matt Riddle has basically just decided, hey, I really kind of sucked at wrestling. So I'm going to steal Randy's moveset because it's so much better than mine. And that is the perfect catalyst to finally kick this off is, bitch, you're not me. Stop trying to be me. Stop doing my finisher. Stop doing my moves and wreck this motherfucker. I've said it before. I love people who smoke weed. Someone that I love very, very much. The mother of my child smokes weed. This man down here who I've come to really enjoy, stoner, but he's not a Matt Riddle stoner. I hate Matt Riddle stoners. The fucking stupid California surfer, bro. Fucking hate it. Not my kind of white people. Said it a million times. Can't stand it.
I know that.
However, he has now basically ripped off Randy Orton's moveset. He doesn't do any of his bro moves anymore. He is trying to become Randy Orton. Do I want him to turn on Randy Orton and get one up on Randy Orton and possibly beat Randy Orton and get a propelled up? No, I want Randy to wreck this dude, and I want him in the 24/7 division on a fucking scooter where he belongs, chasing R-Truth and Tozawa and Tamina and Dana Brooke, smoking fucking weed and promoting whatever fast food sponsor they have that week, Jimmy John's or Domino's or whoever the fuck, where he belongs. If he turns on Randy, that is going to propel him into the main event. And that is not what we need. So stop putting that out in the fucking universe.
Wow, I'm so sorry. I've been with Reek for like fucking 6 months. I've been screaming it'll be Riddle. My bad.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth. Because think about this, right? You can still get all that shit that you want to happen. Randy called.
So, spits and swallows. Katie, you got anything?
Waiting for you to mute him. Damn. You muted him both.
I gave him his
That's
time.
amazing.
I gave him his time, and he didn't see
Damn.
reason. So
Whew. I didn't realize you muted him both. That's so
I
funny.
didn't even get my natty right.
we'll get back. We'll get back to Natty. Unless you can go to Natty now, or I'm going to mute you again. No more. Riddle's done. We're done. Riddle over Riddle. That's it.
Well, yeah. Well, I split the segment because I didn't like Jay losing to him.
Yeah.
Because we all know my prophecy about Jey Uso. He needs to be the one to throw Roman Reigns. I said that. So yeah, I don't want to see Riddle beating him. Of course.
And you're spitting Natalya. Let's move to Natalya.
Yeah. So I was with you about Natty going to NXT because I said before, Natty's career peaked in NXT. So I'm all fine with her going back there and doing whatever because I wasn't mad when I saw her there. But who the fuck does this woman think she is showing back up on my TV on SmackDown with Shayna Baszler, who at this point, RIP to her career in WWE, because if you are hitching your wagon to Natty at this point, you are dead on arrival. The fact that you got your Mania match, okay, great, but you had to hitch your wagon to Natty to do it. And where has anyone that's partnered with Natty found themselves in the end? I will wait. And don't say Beth Phoenix because she was a star way before Natty even showed up. Exactly. I'm so
TJ married her and lost a career. Anyway.
That's true. That's true. But in fairness, TJ spelled doom for himself a long time ago. I mean, that was years long in the making. I mean, they were together for so long. It's like that was always going to end in tragedy. He chose to spend his life with this woman.
Into this.
He chose to spend his life with this woman, so he knew what he was getting himself into. And in fairness, though, he's one of the best producers on the game right now. So I mean, there's a trade-off.
Don't besmirch him with Natty. Stop it.
He besmirched himself with Natty.
I don't care. Don't bring this man into this conversation right now. He's not on TV.
God, I love that all three of you feel the exact same way I do about this woman. So thank you all for that.
I'm gonna tell you. So TC, my co-host on the show, has this theory that Natty, because Matt alluded to it before, Natty has something.
I was going to say, to be fair, I sparked this theory.
Yeah, so TC went ahead and just put it in full motion. So he has this theory that Natty, as a small child, so she was around during the time that the Hearts were doing their thing in WWE, and I think it was
here's what it was. Here's what it was. Originally, someone tweeted out, "Is there anything left to say about the Montreal screw job?" And I, joking around, said, "Has anyone ever postulated the fact that the Montreal screw job went down and WCW won or didn't go down, and WCW won the Monday Night War? So Vince traveled back in time to screw over Bret Hart and then built his empire. And from that, TC has created this entire narrative that when this happened, Vince went too far back. Natalya saw Vince, knew what happened, and has been holding this over Vince McMahon's head his entire life to get a endless contract with WWE, to win championships, to do all the things she has done, because she is the only person that knows that Vince McMahon is a time traveler. And she is keeping that secret as long as her and whoever she associates herself with continues to exist."
It's my favorite.
It's gotta be
unconventional theory I've ever heard my entire life.
And I really thought I was going to get roasted. I really thought I was going to get roasted by TC when this happened, and I didn't.
TC embraced it.
The first time he said it, I looked at him like, "Okay, you're bugging. Get the fuck out of here." And then it's proceeded to just get worse and worse and worse to the point that I gotta believe something like that is going on now.
It definitely happened.
2 times on my TV screen? No, that's bullshit. I am my whole chest. I'm spitting this out. Like, get that out of here. No.
What if Vince was Natty's father?
Well, when Vince retires, if Natty gets the keys to the throne over Stephanie and Shane and Triple H,
what's really fucking crazy though? because he just fucking said that. If Vince is Natty's father, any potential diva women that's been through WWE's doors could be her mother. Like, legit.
I'd still assume that her mother is her mother.
I don't know if that's the case.
I mean,
move on.
Hold on, real quick. If Natalya's mother wasn't actually Natalya's mother, then Jim Neidhart would have had to do some fucked up shit for Vince to be like, "You're going to hide this secret and raise this child." There'd have to be something there. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure. Vince has laid the groundwork for years that he has fathered an illegitimate child, and he has teased us about it. So Natty
Yes.
being Vince's illegitimate child for real, not Hornswoggle, not Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy, not any of that shit.
Not even,
But
not
it
even
actually being
Shane.
Natalya in real life, and at some point got drunk and fucked Natalya's mom,
Yes.
knocked her up, and made Jim take care of it, which is why Brett got pissed. And it could be a whole thing. It's a whole new theory. However, I'm still pretty sure Natalya's mom is Natalya's mom. And when you look at Natalya and Jenny, there are some genes there. There are some
Holy
genes there.
fuck.
I mean, yeah, but,
Yeah,
And they're not McMahon
Vince
genes.
gonna definitely fuck
and
Natty's
it's
mom.
not and it's
That's a
not
good
like
theory.
and it's not like Vince has spawned ugly kids. I mean, look at Steph. Like,
Yeah, no, she's a good looking
Yeah.
girl. Do we have any other spits or swallows from SmackDown? Katie, you got anything?
Remember how we talked about like 2 hours ago that I was going to talk a lot more in the show? Yeah, that went out the fucking window.
You still have talked a lot more this episode.
A little more.
A little more.
I'm spinning everything around to Charlotte because I don't give a flying fuck about either woman. They both suck. They both can fuck off. I don't care. I'm spitting everything RK blows because why is Riddle taking Randy's moveset? Fuck off. Riddle beating both Usos infuriates me. Don't give this man anything else. I'm swallowing Sammy being a snitch because it's fucking hysterical. Because that's all Sammy can do. He's just gonna weasel his way through, go to the main man himself, Roman, be like, I heard some shit. I'm not snitching, but I'm kind of snitching. And then you're gonna have Roman destroy these people. That's big brain. That's smart. I'm swallowing Xia Li's appearance. Love me some Xia Li.
It didn't make sense.
I don't care. She's on my TV.
Didn't have to make sense.
Let me have this.
I mean, listen, I'm always gonna be happy to see her. It's just like, okay, so what do we do now? Okay,
Listen,
like,
if you can swallow a fucking caveman Carl, I can swallow Xia Li.
listen, I'm not saying you're wrong for swallowing it. I'm just like I'm more on the fence about it.
I
'cause
wouldn't.
don't
I
know.
wouldn't.
And
let
if she's
you
gonna
tell
go
me how to-
heel, I need
She's
Tian
going
Sha
heel.
back. I need that back if we're going heel.
I mean, I'm down.
You got to think she's gonna feud with Raquel right away, but I'm not trying to cut you off. My bad.
No, you're fine.
You finish.
I'm-
You do you.
I'm used to it. It's okay. What else am I spinning? I feel like I'm spinning everything on this fucking show. Everything. Madcap Moss, Corbin.
Yeah.
That's like my
Natty.
list. I got all spits. I'm
literally spinning
Yeah.
Natty Reese
I got all
Except Sammy.
I got all spits except for I got Lacey is a swallow, and I got Charlotte's green outfit. Usually Charlotte looks like shit.
She looked like a fucking G.I. Joe doll. Like, what are you talking about? You're swallowing that.
I thought that outfit was form fitting and looked decent on her. So I know all my guys are gonna hate on me just like you are right now. So I expected that. That's fair. That was a reaction I thought I would get for
I thought
that.
it was trash.
And Sasha and Naomi's dance. I'm swallowing that.
I will swallow Sasha and Naomi always.
And
Yeah.
Xia Li because I too visually. And so just the women is the only thing on that show I swallow. And everything else sucked. And not all the women because Natty sucks, and the fact that main event Jay lost to Riddle does suck, and I don't like Drew and Sammy, so I feel like that sucks, and I don't like the whole Butch thing and that he's getting lost and running around with Botch and Sheamus. I don't like that, and I don't like Gunther squashing guys, and Ricochet feuding with Jinder and Shanky is stupid. So altogether, I think SmackDown is a pretty shit show right now.
It did fall off. It did fall off. I do have two swallows. One is anything Gunther because I know it's just him beating guys up, but damn it, that man is spectacular. But the big one, and this is gonna shock y'all, because y'all know how I feel about this person. I'm giving Baron Corbin a swallow for stealing that trophy that Madcap never should have won in the fucking first place. So yes, I'm giving Baron Corbin a swallow.
I was just going to agree with Katie and swallow everything that was Roman and Sammy in that interaction, because between Sammy snitching and Roman saying, get my name out their mouths, and the way he said it, get my name out their mouths and put my dick in it. That's what I heard, and I'm all for that.
I'll take it. Jesus.
So
To be fair, literally everything that Roman says and does is fucking gold. So I shouldn't say that like everything other than the women sucked. Roman,
Roman.
We didn't
Either
get
one.
enough
Oh,
Romans
okay.
on the show. That's
We-
the problem.
the problem with SmackDown went downhill when we stopped getting 30-35 minutes worth of Roman Reigns and the draft. Obviously, the draft killed SmackDown, but it made Raw better. So, like,
The
No
draft
point in
didn't
having a draft if
exist.
there's no brand split. So
yo, baby, you're talking to me. I've been saying this for years. All right,
Math has just given up.
speaks to my
All
soul.
of us.
when they had an NXT Championship match on Monday Night Raw after Mania, I just wish I could have seen his face when that announcement was made.
it
I
didn't
really
matter
did.
because at that point I told you
He was
I had
broken already.
resided to the fact that there was never a brand split. After Survivor Series, especially, they just abandoned it and said,
He gave
we're
up.
not doing this anymore. And if they're not going to acknowledge it or pretend it doesn't exist, then I'm not going to be mad about it. If you come at me and tell me, yeah, there's a brand split, and then you do this shit, then I can be mad about it. But if you just decide, you know what, we fucked up, and you just pretend like it never happened, and you just do whatever the fuck you want, like, I can't be mad about it. Okay, it doesn't exist. Cool. Now I'm good. But don't fucking lie to my face and tell me there's a goddamn brand split when everyone goes wherever the fuck they want and does whatever they want, because that is not a goddamn brand split. Anyway,
Spot
So-
fucking on, brother.
are we all spitting SmackDown?
Yeah, because it was trash.
God, for like 4 months now.
All right. AEW Rampage, last show of the night. Adam Cole defeats one half of the Itchy and Scratchy Show with an assist from another New Japan wrestler that has no gimmick or character, but apparently is really good in the ring, Switchblade Jay White. The Jagoffs are banned from Rampage, apparently. Were they? No, they weren't on Dynamite, so that does track, because I would have laughed so hard if they were on the show for Dynamite and then, oh, did I freeze?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would have laughed so hard if they had been banned from Rampage, but had shown up on Dynamite and had a segment, as if we didn't know that it was taped the same night. That would have been great, but they weren't. So apparently all you have to do is steal Hook's snacks and he will talk to you. Danhausen ran up, snatched the bag of chips away from him, said, bitch, I got your snacks now. And Hook's like, you got my attention. You wanted my attention. You got my attention.
No. You're leaving out a key point here. Danhausen, Hook's being interviewed, whatever, in the back. He walks in, chips are on the ground. Danhausen's like, ha ha ha, whatever. A Hook, hide and right, Michael Cole style, Hook pushes this boy against the wall, says whatever the fuck he says, and then poor Danhausen's just left there traumatized. Like, stop. Yes.
No, he didn't. It was not hide and rec style. It was not.
Okay. Because
They were face to
It was
no,
getting there.
they were face to face. It was not Danhausen's face up against the
Okay.
wall with Hook behind him, and I know that's what Reek wanted to know. There
Oh,
was
we
not
Because
there was not
The
crotch to ass.
intention was there.
because when you say hide and right, there is an image burned in my brain
I
because I saw it as a
know.
child
I
that will never
know.
get out when you say things like that.
I know. It was the same theme. of
But if
it.
you wake him up from his nap or you steal the baby's snacks, then he gets grumpy. That's what happened. He got grumpy. Serpentico, who I didn't even realize still had a job, gets wrecked by Lance Archer, because that's how you prove to me that Lance Archer can take Wardlow, is by having him beat Serpentico in 30 seconds. Eddie defeated Garcia, who was there by himself because, again, the Jagoffs were banned from the arena. Keith Lee and Swerve are disappointed that Taz got involved with his team. They had a promo where they're like, we're disappointed in Taz because he helped out the guys that he is managing. Okay. And then in our main event, Jade did her best to wrestle Marina Shafir despite the absolute lack of talent that Marina Shafir has, because as I said last week, talent in wrestling cannot be acquired via injection from Roderick Strong's penis. Not transferable through semen or any other fluids, because if it was, she would have to be better than she is.
That match was fucking terrible.
You just reminded me. I totally forgot to swallow this on NXT. Roderick Strong, like, standing up for himself on what he's doing. Because damn it, Malcolm can't fight, so I don't know why he acting like his face is all tied up, like he gonna do something. Malcolm don't fight. We've seen this before. So yeah. Shut the fuck up. about that. But you are actually 100% right. The worst thing that happened to Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke is that they got cut and were no longer alongside Shayna Baszler because that was where they belonged, because that could have been a great stable.
They never did nothing with that because Jessamine Duke can't wrestle and Marina Shafir can't wrestle. And I have no idea after seeing what Marina Shafir is doing on Dark and Dark Elevation. They only give her like 90-second match of squash. You'd think like, oh, hey, we're going to try. It's all because of the fucking stupid IWC and them telling Tony, you got to push new women. You got to push new women. Well, guess what? All right. I love women's wrestling. I do. All right. I love women's wrestling, but you just fucking can't develop women on fucking trees. All right. Marina Shafir isn't good. There's 100 million other women out there right now. All right. What the fuck? Why do you need Marina Shafir, man? There's absolutely like you got, I'm trying to think on their roster.
There's only
Serena
34 women, so you're gonna have an issue with it.
Well, you got like Serena Deeb, for example, who could be going after Jade. You got like Sheeta, who could be going after Jade. But like after that, it's not like that deep. So I don't know why Marina Shafir is his, choice to try to push into that role. But it was a bad fucking choice, and she can't wrestle, man.
Well, think about this. There are 34
kind of bumps.
Tony does take the wrong kind of bumps. There are 34 women on the roster, you said, Katie?
Yeah.
And Jade has 30 wins.
Well, and 2 of them are against her baddies. I just pulled up AEW for tonight, and the first thing I see is her baddie section, Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet. So, like, when did like that happen? I mean, I know when it happens. I watch all the time. Red just joined last week, which I felt like that was random as all hell. But she's another one, all right? I appreciate Red Velvet trying and Marina Shafir trying. And Tony, I guess, trying to get these women on TV because he's trying to, like, propel his women's division. But damn, like, these girls suck. Like, Red Velvet sucks. Marina Shafir sucks. The Alien, she's awesome.
Legit, so fucking awesome.
Legit Layla, she's fucking awesome.
Layla's hurt. So that's why she's not on TV.
Ty Conti, I know you guys, aren't fans, but that girl, she's great in the fucking ring.
Fine, but she's with Sammy, so she's not gonna be wrestling for a while.
Right. When she's not with Sammy, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I get what Tony's trying to do to build new relevant women. He's just picking the wrong ones, I guess, because the ones he's putting in these matches aren't very good. I love Jade though. I haven't seen that match, but I know it was a shit fucking match. And that match with Sky Blue was fucking an atrocity, man. And Sky, she's raw, but fuck, I'd rather see Sky go wrestle Jade 6 times than see Shafir. I've seen Sky live a couple of times, and the little I've seen of her in AEW, I've seen a lot of her like on Dark and whatnot, but like on Dynamite, she's better than fucking Shafir, man. That's a bad
we're
spot.
all about thicker core Jade. Love it.
Oh, well,
so hold on.
I ain't even talking about that swallow. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking about actual in-ring ability at this point,
Oh, we're talking about both.
But what about like Tegan Knox and Taya Valkyrie and like Athena? Like, Tony wants to fucking push this women's division. Where are like the actual women who could fucking wrestle like them? Like, bring them in.
I could tell you right now, one of those women is a black woman, and unless your name is Jay
She ain't
Carlin,
going nowhere.
it's not gonna happen because we know how Tony Khan is. But speaking of black women, did y'all say that Red Velvet is part of the baddie section now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Kiera Hogan.
Kiera Hogan.
And if you're
Kiera Hogan can do no wrong in my book.
and if you're
only Hogan that matters.
If you're into either one, the little TikTok that I'm looking at right now is
Kiera Hogan does no wrong.
See, now I think I saw the same TikTok you're talking about, and I feel like if you look at Red Velvet and the way she dances, and then you look at Kiera Hogan the way she dances, there's a very distinct difference in the amount of rhythm both women have, and Kiera has all of it, and Red Velvet's a little stiff.
I was just that, and that's exactly the point that
she throws it. She throws it when she needs to throw it, though. If you watch it, because I thought the same thing. Kira's got way better moves, but at the end of it, when it needs to be thrown and it's got the little shimmy on there, go.
But that's the point I was getting at. Red Velvet, the same Red Velvet that came out in her fucking Dukes of Hazzard Confederate fucking gear that one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that one.
Okay.
That one.
She's
That
bad
same one.
now.
That may or may not be addressed this weekend.
You're welcome.
AW Rampage.
Well, I'm swallowing Adam Cole
Oh, sorry.
and Ishii, not Ichi.
Itchy.
Oh, that's what
Itchy.
that was?
Yeah, it was
Because, you know,
Tomohiro
with
Ishii.
his fucking
Wasn't
his made up
Tamaguchi?
names.
Tamagotchi.
No, not Hiroshima Tamagotchi. No,
Oh,
other person.
oh.
Other person. No, but bro, I got to see fucking Adam Cole wrestle live. I haven't seen him since fucking NXT Black and Gold in like 2018.
That's right. You were live because it was taped. How was seeing
Yeah.
Ishii? That was probably fun, huh?
That was a great match. Like that's
Yeah.
that and Garcia and Kingston. Those are the only two things I'm swallowing from Rampage.
He looked like
Like,
Samoa
'cause King-
Joe's dad.
Oh shit.
I hate you. Those are the only two things I'm swallowing because those were the best. And like Garcia and Kingston wasn't bad. And I liked that everyone was banned from ringside, like Jagoffs and Santana and Ortiz. Like everyone was gone. And then I just see them. So I wasn't mad at it. Those are the only two things I'm swallowing. Everything else fucking sucked. I love Jade. Like I want that kiss of death, but like that match was fucking garbage. And I'm pissed that was the last thing I saw before I left. Pissed.
They main evented that.
That was the main event. And
Not
then
Cole and Ishii.
No,
no,
that was
Cole
the
and Ishii
opener.
started it.
I hate how
And
they do that.
They didn't
with
even do the
Rampage.
entrances on TV.
Oh my god, I hate
I got
how
to see
they
it
do
live.
that
That's
shit.
been a problem from day one. Like they'll start the show off so hot, but
Mhm.
they close the show with something that just nobody gives a fuck about, and I don't know why.
I wouldn't have
Not-
given
not
a
that-
fuck.
Because
I would have
Jade
been
Cargill-
out tonight if I was watching.
I always
yeah.
love me some Jade Cargill. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but you're gonna wrestle somebody like we just said who's not great at fucking wrestling. So what are we supposed to get out of that?
The crowd was dead. The match was terrible. The fucking her winning her 30th. There was money that was shot and then balloons that were over the crowd and not even over the ring. So it was fucking pointless and stupid. I was so done at that point. I didn't care. Everyone basically around me left. So
And they got a close up of Jade's face, and you could see how disappointed Jade was with the match.
I would be too.
Well, the problem
Uh,
is Jade is all right, and I'm gonna preface this by saying I love Jade. I just did
he's still not the best.
an AEW
I'm about to
brand
say,
split
she's not
draft
that
with my
flawless
boy.
herself.
Like we split the rosters, we drafted. All right. I picked Jade with the 5th overall pick in the draft. I love Jade that much. Like I think she is like that fucking real. But she needs a worker, man. Like she's like Diesel when Vince put the title on her back in the day. Like she needs someone in the ring that she could work with, and that ain't raw ass fucking Marina Shafir.
Yeah. So, like she's not that polished herself, but it's like she's at a point. Her upside is so much bigger, and it's
The
like
backside is too.
Oh,
Yeah, fucking right.
everything about.
And it's like if you put someone in there with her that knows what she's doing, then she continues to shine. So it's like for her at this point, it's like she's almost like the vet in this situation where it's like, yo, this is what you fucking gave me to work with in a main event match. It's like set me up for failure. Like this is
Well, I mean, it
bullshit.
also helps the fact that she's being trained by the American Dragon Jake Long, Bryan Danielson himself. So she can't do no wrong right now. Like she's improved so much since he started training with her.
Rampage, Spit or Swallow.
I haven't seen the show yet. I have it on the DVR. I assume just by hearing what we were talking about, I've been looking forward to Kingston and Garcia because Garcia's beaten Kingston twice, and I think Kingston got to get him the upper hand. And based on what I heard tonight, he gives him the upper hand finally. And Cole and Ishii I was looking forward to that too. I assumed it would be some bullshit Cole sneaks off or cheats to win victory, as it was, because Adam Cole literally, it doesn't matter if he fucking wrestles Serpentico or Wardlow, he's gonna fucking cheat to win because God forbid he can't beat anyone in AEW. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's fucking insane. But nonetheless, Adam Cole should win, and he's probably gonna win the Owen Hart tournament. I'll go ahead and say that now. Adam Cole will win the Owen Hart Cup tournament. But yeah, I didn't see the show. but I assume I'll like it.
I'll give like a half a swallow for the prospect of that match. I may just break protocol to see it because I didn't realize with all of his little made up names for New Japan people that he was talking about Ishii. So I may break protocol.
Who
to
did you
watch
think
that
Itchy
match.
was?
I don't fucking know.
Who did you think Itchy was?
Okay, let me ask Titty Sewer Nato. Who do you think that is?
Naito.
Naito.
It's Naito.
Okay, so if I say Hiroshima Tamagotchi, you know
Tanahashi.
it's Tanahashi.
Tanahashi, yeah.
If I say
Okay.
Titty Sewer
So it's-
Nato,
so
you
you're-
say Naito, but I say Itchy and you don't get Ishii from that?
Well, that okay. So you're it's
The only one I
close-
can't
it's
think of a
close
clever
enough.
name for is fucking Okada, because what the fuck do you have? What do I make that
Okra.
sounds like Okada?
Okunta.
because that one you can't because you can't.
I
make
can
that.
absolutely. He's not real.
Oh god. But yeah,
Who'd he ever beat?
I may just break protocol to watch that match.
Who'd Okada ever beat?
Oh god.
Anyway,
I have to swallow for Adam Cole.
and I'm spitting because
Again, personal bias. I was there, so I have to
Yeah.
swallow for Adam Cole.
Yeah.
He's also right here.
yeah.
He watches everything.
He stares at me. It's fucking creepy.
I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna let you slide. You're good.
Fuck you. We're not having this conversation right now.
Overall, Tim, what was your favorite show that you watched this week?
Dynamite. Easily.
I'm assuming Katie, yours is also Dynamite.
Yeah.
You were there.
I was there.
Reek,
I think I'm gonna go NXT.
and I'm
That's my
gonna go
second
NXT
choice.
as well. So this week we are divided 50-50. The best shows of the week, because Tim's new, so I'm not gonna overrule him like I normally do. Dynamite and NXT as per the Wrestle Index, the She Elite Showcase, one half of Young Kings Wrestling, and the Smackin Raw podcast. Tim, we'll start with you. Plug your show. Tell everyone where they can find the Wrestle Index. What you got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me the Wrestling Index at thewrestlingindex.com. You can find me YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and iTunes. Check it out. And I do a bunch of fun things on there. Talk current product, nostalgic wrestling, do some list ranking stuff, and just have a good time on there talking wrestling.
Mr. Yates, now that you are finally back after a fucking 7-month hiatus.
How long has hiatus?
Has it been that long? Jesus.
It's gotta be.
This is your first show with us in 2022.
Oh, that's terrible. We gotta get those
That's
numbers up.
disgraceful.
I'm off on Fridays now. Yeah. So for everybody who doesn't know, I've been working a lot and I got a promotion at my job, so my schedule shifted. So I have some weekend availability. So that being said, you can find me at Recavik24 on Instagram and on Twitter. You can find Young Kings Wrestling at YK Wrestling everywhere except Instagram because they some hoes. Long story, we'll get into it. You can find us on Instagram at YK Wrestling _. Again, long story. If you go to Linktree/YK Wrestling, you can find all the platforms where we stream our podcast, Spotify, Anchor, video versions are up on YouTube, and also the links to merch where you can find your NWO inspired Black Lives Matter tees, as well as logo shirts as well. And also, last but not least, you can find the Havoc Hour on Instagram, as well as all streaming platforms, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts, and the video versions up on YouTube as well. Since we just started the show off with it, will be moving forward with either Scream or Nightmare on Elm Street, whichever one you two prefer.
We're gonna do Nightmare on Elm
And-
Street because we don't need to wait for someone to get caught up to do Nightmare on Elm Street. I have had the synopses for Nightmare on Elm Street done for 6 months, waiting to do this show.
I
Well,
didn't
the-
watch all those fucking movies for nothing.
While we are
Okay.
waiting for our other guest host for Scream to catch the movies and get caught up, I will be personally DMing Wreak Havoc every day until we have our Nightmare on Elm Street Havoc Hour scheduled.
Okay.
Where's the
It will likely be a Saturday night after
I'm free tomorrow.
after I have taken care of my significant other obligations for the day and settled in for the night. It will most likely be a Saturday
We
night.
got another fucking Vince on our hands.
No,
podcast.
I have already had this discussion. Podcast time is podcast time. Just got to take care of it during the day. But yeah, but I have it set, and of course he'll be DMing me. But new content's coming. But in the meantime, there's plenty of content up with these beautiful people here and more, so you can go check that out as well.
Katie?
You can follow me on
Cater Tot?
Twitter. Fuck you. Let me just do this. You can follow me on Twitter at KaterWrestling13. Linktree in my bio to take you all things She Lead Showcase. Twitch.tv/She Lead Showcase. Typically Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, depending on when Savannah clicks on the link I sent her. We've YouTube. Everything's up on there. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. She Lead's kind of just like the banner. She Lead Showcase is the weekly recap I do every week. The latest episode is out now. Inside the Mind of is an interview series I do with other people in the wrestling community. Matt and Reek have both been on it. In the Crowd will also be up by the time this goes out, I think. Right?
Oh yeah, way before this goes out. You said In the Crowd will be up at 7 a.m. This will probably be out sometime between 9 and 11 tomorrow night.
Perfect. But it's Matt and Vince. We talk about, honestly, I don't even remember what the fuck we talked about.
I'll cover it. Don't worry. I got you.
It was too much, but they played the game like Know Your Co-Host, like a Newlywed kind of game. So very entertaining. And then my co-host Savannah has a New Japan Takeover show, which talks about all things New Japan, even though Matt doesn't think it's real. And I currently am in the process of getting merch. I have a website bought. I'm trying to figure everything out. I just don't have time because I work all fucking week. But there, everything's said. Go.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Matt Ridders at MATTRIDDER. Only Smackin' Raw Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. I run the Twitter. Vince runs the Instagram. Creation World is the banner under which the Smackin' Raw Podcast exists. You can check them out at creationworld.com, facebook.com/groups/Smackin' Raw, facebook.com/Creation World. If you want to do the wrestling, go to the group. If you want to see all the nerd-ish that we do, including Dungeons After Dark, Super Flash Year of Tomorrow, go check us out on Facebook or at the website or on Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World, at THECREATIA World.com. And as Katie said, tomorrow, go follow the She Lead Showcase on YouTube. Go follow Katie Wrestling so that you can see who knows who better, me or my co-host Vince. So you can hear us talk horror movies. You can hear us talk superhero movies. You can hear us talk Pokemon. You can hear us talk music. You can hear us talk all of these things and so much more, as well as me and Katie give Vince all the shit in the world about who the real Pornhub Poppy is. It's a good time. You're going to enjoy it. You will find out what my favorite wrestling podcast to listen to is. So go check that out. And who Vince and my favorite porn stars are, along with other interesting information about Vince and I to see who knew who better. So please go listen, check that out, give it a like, and have a fucking blast. As always, for Young Kings Wrestling's and the Havoc Hours, Wreak Havoc, the Dr. Reek Baker, BBC, Cater Tot, Miss Katie Kinsey, Bay, and TK, the one that's not on coke constantly, Tim King from the Wrestling Index. I am your host, the patron saint of podcast, and the Warden Matt Ritter, and this has been Smackin' It Raw, the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub.